Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Connor Knowles, and this is the Nerdic Gods podcast, episode 189. Joining me as always, Daniel Neverly.
What's going on, gamers? What's up?
What up, Daniel?
A lot.
A
Everyone
lot
just
going
wanted
on.
to we're gonna release trailers. We're gonna leak our own stuff. We're gonna have unnecessary directs. Just a lot of stuff happened in the past week.
Yeah, I looked at our doc during work yesterday. Our doc that we use for the show where we put all the news we're gonna talk about and whatnot. And I was just like, oh shit, it's been a busy ass week, hasn't it?
Who else wants to lay off, a bunch of people, or who else wants to leave their company?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Like everybody.
What's
And then we added like 3 more this morning, and I'm like,
I
all right,
did,
well,
yeah.
fucking A. All right,
This
shit's just popping off. But I like
too
it.
much.
Like busy gaming news. Feel like we had some
Yeah.
lighter weeks recently over the summer period,
Mhm.
but
Kind of in between,
pick
right
it up
after
now.
Summer Game Fest is usually when it kind of slows just a bit.
yeah. But yeah, we're picking up now. You went to Dunkin'?
Yeah,
I have a new fascination with Dunkin' Donuts, actually.
I'm normally a Starbucks person,
Me
but
too.
I was just like Dunkin' just has generally better breakfast. Even though I
Okay.
like Starbucks' breakfast, they have more options at Starbucks. It seems like because I like their coffee cake or something like that. But I was just like, I really want like one of their breakfast sandwiches at Dunkin', and so then I got this isn't even coffee, so I already had.
That's not coffee.
I
What
brewed
is
my
that?
own coffee, matcha tea.
Oh, okay.
I wanted it like something different.
Respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dunkin' and Starbucks are like equal distance from my work. But the Dunkin' just opened a drive-through window. I'm like,
Does your
okay.
Starbucks not? See,
No,
both
the
of mine
Starbucks
do
does.
right here.
They both.
Oh,
The
okay.
Starbucks always did. The Dunkin' didn't, but they just opened a
Oh.
drive-through. I know, very weird. I don't know what happened there, but yeah,
Hmm.
they just opened that. And so then I went to Dunkin', got a giant iced coffee for like $3, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this is nice. And that
My
shit got
two-
me wired, which is strange. I don't normally like feel caffeine all that much, but at least not
Probably
anymore.
the amount.
Yeah, yeah, that happens. But yeah, I drank. It was probably because of how big that fucking Dunkin' Donuts one was. And
Yeah, this is a large right here.
yeah,
It's as big
yeah,
as my
that's
hand.
exactly the size. Yeah, so I drank that whole thing. I was wired. So yeah.
What
new
I'll say about
fascination with
Dunkin'.
Dunkin' going on.
Number one, generally their coffee's pretty reasonable price.
It's
Which is
definitely
a good
price good. I don't know if
which
it
is a good
tasted
thing.
that well.
That's what I was gonna get at. Number two, I think their coffee tastes okay. It's not bad. It tastes okay to pretty good. Number three, their coffee's too sweet. You have to adjust their stuff too much. You have to I don't want all this extra sugar and all that. At
Yeah,
least when
all
I go
I
to
had in
Starbucks.
my iced coffee was creamer and coffee.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think me and you always the same. We don't.
Yeah,
put
I think we
sugar in our
talked about
coffee.
this before. No, I
Yeah.
did not do the sugar in coffee.
Yeah.
That's
Dunkin's
weird
too
to me,
sweet.
honestly.
Yeah. See, I'll do like a creamer that has like a little bit of sugar in it, and then I
Sure.
won't put any.
A half and
like a
half.
flavored
Yeah,
or a half and half.
Yeah, I do half and half and a little bit of sugar in that. That's fine.
But then when you go to you go to Starbucks, their coffee I think is better.
Definitely.
Not that it's like the best, but it's better for like as fast as you can get it, and it's stronger. Like
Yes.
it's just a stronger coffee. So
I agree, but like I said, I don't know for some reason that Dunkin' one.
go
Just
get
had
a
me wired.
Trenta at Starbucks. The thing is,
Yeah, that's a very good
huge.
point. That's a very good point. I don't typically do that big at Starbucks, so yeah. Big fan of heavy cream in my coffee as well.
Ooh, it's sometimes
late.
it's too thick. That's
Is
a
it?
treat
Is it?
right there.
Yeah,
That's real thick.
You gotta put just like a little amount in though. You know, it's not not too much.
Stick with the half and half. I'd recommend.
Yeah. But nonetheless, Daniel, coffee. I could do a whole podcast about coffee if you want.
We could make a coffee.
I love coffee, man. I don't know what it is about
Me and
coffee.
you are
It's about
big
that
coffee
first
people.
coffee of the day too. You know, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, oh yeah.
Sometimes you just need it.
I didn't even understand it. You know, it didn't even happen until I turned 18, and then like as soon as I hit 18, I like drank coffee, and I was like, this is very odd, and now I'm just in love 10 years later.
You need to get into the world of espresso.
Ooh, I don't know if I can handle that.
Can you not?
See,
handle it?
I've been drinking bad coffee for so long now that if I had good coffee, I don't even know what I'd do. You know,
Yeah.
my head would probably explode. Daniel, video games. Lots happening. Lots going down. It's been another busy week in the world of video games.
It's actually a busy week.
It's a
You're
very
not just
busy
saying
week.
it.
Starting with, this will be our long one too, because we're gonna go in depth into this.
Okay,
Early
I'm
Tuesday
ready.
morning, redacted documents from the FTC versus Xbox court case containing tons of Xbox plans for the next decade accidentally got uploaded online to the internet, and people have just been combing through these for days on end, Daniel, and plenty has gotten leaked. This is like an actual leak,
Yeah,
leak, like
a
really,
proper
this is
leak.
leaked. Like, all right, so yeah, we could start in a million places here. I guess what was your first reaction to this whole thing? You must have
Uh,
woke up on what was it, Tuesday, like I said,
yeah,
and
yeah.
just
It was
seen all
like
this.
overnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, my first question was like, how did this happen? And then I guess it just was a mistake on someone at Microsoft's part, I guess. But that was my
Yeah.
first reaction. Like, how could this happen with so much information?
So the
And then
FTC is claiming that someone at Microsoft uploaded all this into a public document file, but it was actually supposed to go into
yeah,
a private document file or something. So
yeah,
just seems like someone made a mistake.
someone definitely made a big
Hate to be
mistake.
that guy this week.
Yeah, someone's fired for sure.
It's probably just some intern, you know. It's like
Hey
fuck.
Phil, do you know who that intern is? Yeah, he's fired. He
Yeah,
just
he's
immediately
he's
fired that intern.
gone. He's way gone.
Um, then my second reaction after that was like, man, okay. So it was more about like the big thing for me was the mid-gen refresh for them was like, okay, so they actually are going to do some sort of half step upgrade before the next Xbox or whatever it is. Because like if they weren't going to do it, if I remember correctly, as of like a year ago or so,
Yeah,
or a year and a
according
half
to
ago
Phil.
maybe. According to Phil, yeah.
Yeah,
So something has changed where they feel like maybe they want to do that, which makes sense. We talk about on the show all the time that honestly, it doesn't feel like these consoles are powerful enough for what the standard should be, right? Like 60 frames, and they're the industry still for some reason is pushing 4K so hard. So 4K 60 is still just not possible for a lot of games. So the standard is just not there yet. And we need better hardware for that. So I think both PlayStation is going to do whatever slam in a pro version, and I guess Xbox is now as well.
yeah. So IGN got this laid out pretty nicely of like everything
Cool.
that happened, so we can just go over all the stuff, and they start with Microsoft's planning to release an updated Xbox Series X and X models next year. So sometime next year, just code names for them and all that stuff. Now,
I'd assume in the fall, probably.
what's interesting about this one is it doesn't necessarily it kind of almost sounds like these are just kind of remodels of the consoles and not
Okay.
necessarily power upgrades
Interesting.
on the Xbox side. Yeah. So in a way, I think Phil was being honest and
Okay.
saying what was
I didn't
actually
look too
happening.
heavy into it.
Yeah. So this almost just sounds more like we are just getting updated models. That's where you see this the air filter looking thing from
Yeah, the
Xbox.
trash can.
Yeah. It is not square anymore. It's kind of a cylinder shape. And
Didn't Apple make a Mac that looked like that? Wasn't there a Mac that was like a cylinder?
I don't
I
remember this. I
swear
don't
they
remember this
did.
at all. Yeah, it does look like an air filter though. That's all I've been seeing. So yeah, there's apparently just updated looking versions of the Series X and X that will have more uh space for your hard drive. This will be 2 terabytes, at least
Good.
on the Series X
Good.
size. And then what does this say? 16 gigabytes of RAM, as well as recyclable
Okay.
packaging.
Do we know how much RAM is on
The Series S
the
one,
yeah,
the
the
Series
S,
S
and then
one will be 10 gigabytes of RAM.
okay. And do you have the comparison of what these base models are right now? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either. Let's see. No, IGN does not have that written down.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah, I
assuming a little bit
wonder.
lesser, but
Yeah, I wonder if like 16. What does my X have right now? You
yeah.
know, interesting.
And then the controller as well. There will also be a new controller launching with both of these things.
Yeah,
Let's see
I wonder if
here.
these designs are really even that final.
Yeah,
Like
so all
I would question
these
that.
so I believe I'm trying to remember what date exactly because I know one of them's from 2022 and part of it's from 2020.
Okay.
So I can't remember exactly if the Xbox majority of the Xbox side stuff is from a document from 2022, and then the Bethesda stuff is from 2020. I think that might
Okay.
be it. So I think this stuff is as of 2022
Okay.
with the
Yeah. One.
controller and then the
Do you,
consoles.
do you think that these designs are of the cylinder and the controller are that's what the final model is going to look like, or
I don't know because obviously those things can change, right? But I
yeah.
feel like hardware is a bit more very early decided on, right? And then they kind of go through with those. It's kind of hard to change those things as they're in the process of being made, right? So I'd assume, right? I don't know about the controller with its little two-tone thing going on
I
here.
don't like how the controller looks.
Yeah, it looks like a very mock controller, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think that'll come out looking exactly like that anyways. But it already does say it'll be customizable in the design lab thing, so I'd
Yeah.
suppose you'd be able to change it. But yeah, the two-tone thing is weird.
Yeah, the console itself, I think it looks fine if that's how it's going to be the cylinder, but I think it looks fine. Yeah, the controller, I do not like how that looks. I don't like how I kind of like it to be more solid colors, like even with my blue here, like it's just pretty solid. It has a color in the back side of it, but like with like the I don't have my dual sense next to me. That dual sense like black that kind of even goes to like the controller bit. I don't like how that looks. It just doesn't. It's not appealing, and that kind of gives me kind of dual sensey kind of vibes. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I don't mind if they change like the grip color a little bit and then like,
Yeah, which is the back
have
side.
that there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's cool with me. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you on that. And then I'll also be able to connect to the cloud directly. So I guess you could. This would
that's
be a
probably the most important
controller
part.
that could connect anywhere to your smart TV and whatever Game Pass app is, wherever the Game Pass app is. You could probably just connect the controller through that.
Yeah, that's crucial right there.
Yeah, and then there's also some DualSense features like haptic feedback and then speakers, Daniel.
Okay.
So I know you're not a big fan of that stuff.
No.
No, not feeling
They're
that.
taking they're taking the wrong information. Like, as much as I don't like any of that kind of stuff in my controller, um, I know that there are people, that don't really mess with it. Like they'll just get their DualSense or even their Xbox controller, just kind of play it, and if it has vibration or whatever, they'll just play it, or even the adaptive triggers, they'll just play it. They're not really thinking about it that much. But then there are a lot of people that either love it, which is a really small amount of people, I think, and then there are people that don't like any of it, like me. It feels like a waste of time to develop these tools in the controller. It feels like a waste of money. And it's going to make these controllers more expensive, and more breakable, and you have to get it repaired or a new one. And it feels like taking the wrong message. Like these developers really aren't doing that much cool DualSense stuff because no one really cares.
Yeah, I agree. No one really cares, but I don't think people turn it off either. Like I don't turn it off.
Maybe.
And it's like I agree that like I don't really care
Yeah.
when something happens, but when it happens, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Mhm.
Like when a noise comes out my controller, I legitimately go like,
Absolutely.
oh, that's cool. I legitimately am like, oh yeah, that's cool. And I'm like, that's
You
fine
want
with
to hear
me.
the baby
Or like I
screaming
get
out of
some
your
cool haptic feedback thing going on. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? I don't think I think majority of people are at that point where they're like they don't really care and like they're not gonna turn it off in the game and they'll just be like, oh, that's cool. Now you might be right with the breaking the controller thing. I never really thought of that. Yeah, that might be a possibility. But yeah, I don't know. I like this stuff, so yeah, I'm for it. I'm not gonna like go out of my way to buy this controller or anything for it, but yeah, the more shit you want to throw on the controller, I'm down with, honestly.
so heating and cooling you want in your controller?
Dude, see, that'd be cool. That'd be
You
fucking
remember that
cool.
one
Dude,
of the
if
Sims one bring in the
imagine you're
fan?
like, next Gears of War comes out or something, or like, I don't know, Fallout or some shit, and like you walk out the vault and it's a snowy landscape, and all of a sudden your controller gets a little bit colder. That's cool. That's fucking cool. Or you walk out to a hot desert sun and it gets a little bit hotter. That's fucking cool. Like, I don't know. I like that stuff.
You want the 4D experience. That's what you want.
I
I'm
think
gonna I'm gonna stand next to you with like a mister, and I'm gonna mist you every time like rain starts happening.
oh, dude, that'd be fucking awesome.
I'm gonna shake your
You ever been to
chair.
Disney World to watch the Bugs Life one?
Yeah, yeah, oh
theater
yeah, I've
thing,
been to
yeah,
Bugs
where the
Life. Yeah,
bugs crawl on the seat.
yeah,
That's fucking dope.
yeah.
If shit
I
like that
hated
can
it.
happen to
I
Rob
did
at
not
home
like
playing
this.
video games, see, I'd fucking love that. So, yeah, I'm definitely not. I don't have as hard as a stance as you against it or for it, but I think majority of people are kind of sitting in that middle spot where they don't really care either way, and if it's on, it's on. But yeah, continuing on then, got a whole bunch more here. Where were we then? That's the consoles. We'll save the Bethesda games for later. Let's do this one. Xbox is planning to release a next gen console in 2028. We kind of already knew this from
Mhm.
the FTC documents earlier, but we get confirmation now. And the console is apparently gonna have something big to do with the cloud. Cloud integration is gonna be very heavily in this somehow, some way. But
Yeah,
come 2028, who knows? That's far future shit. We could all be living in the cloud by then.
yeah. If I'm gonna take like a big like Babe Ruth home run guess, like calling my shot. Um, I'm gonna guess that what that refers to with like having these consoles do more with cloud is maybe trying to offload cost of the console to have more processing power in servers elsewhere so that
Sure.
they can probably do more with these consoles but still try to keep it relatively cheap because as tech gets crazier everything's going to get more expensive and people aren't going to want $1,000 console so or even more or whatever people paying 2000s for a PC. People aren't going to do that in the console space so if they can offload some processing power and things like that and take it out of the console, it might keep the cost down a bit.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly where this stuff is in the article, but I mean, they're going very big on cloud and we're just like not there yet. So it's kind of hard to see like that future right now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like I think there's gonna be a whole cloud console at some point, you know what I mean, from Xbox or just the dongle like we've been talking about that just hooks up to the TV and you play cloud through that game. Because according to the graph that they posted, so they plan on having 100 million Xbox Game Pass subscribers by 2030 and they expect half of that to be console and then the other half to be PC and cloud by the end of 2030 on this graph. And it looks like it's even they expect even more in cloud by 2030 than they do on the PC side. So it'll be
Interesting.
they're expecting by 2030 about 60 million Game Pass subscribers through console and then the rest from cloud and PC. I can't tell exactly what percentage that is on both those sides, but it's a big percentage in cloud. So they have to have something going on here with cloud. That's going to be a big deal to get a whole bunch of people just subscribing to Game Pass through that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be the mobile and casual audience, right?
Yeah,
That has to be who they're tapping into. Like, there's no other way. Like, as much as we love like hardcore gamers, like, really, like, how many do you think there are? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, between all of the platforms, like between
yeah. I mean,
Nintendo,
it's like I
between
think they say
PlayStation and
like what is
Xbox
it like
and PC.
250 million? You know, right
Yeah,
around there.
it's like okay, that's like maybe right around the population of the U.S.
Yeah,
Right, just to give people an idea. That's about worldwide. Compare that to worldwide. That's how many hardcore people. Like, there's only so much of them you can get really to do any sort of gaming, right? So there's that many other people that are playing casual games, and if you can get them playing, Starfield on your phone, try to tap into
yeah.
that audience.
It's just crazy to me to think of a world where that works well, you know. But I guess we're just inching ever closer to that, you know. Like we're
Hmm.
gonna get, and then by 2030, like we're probably gonna be there, you know, where that stuff actually works, and that's actually, you know, you can actually play AAA games on your phone and it work well, and you can like fucking be outside at the park playing Starfield, and that just sounds like such a crazy world to me. But I guess hey, we're gonna be there eventually, so
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
7 years is a long time
yeah,
in terms of tech. Like 7 years in tech it's a that's a ways. I mean, look at the iPhone 15 coming out this year, right?
right,
We talked about that last week with how it's gonna be playing AAA games. Like that's
natively
kind of crazy. Yeah,
crazy,
that's kind of
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I mean, with just this graph, it's crazy to see like what their expectations are. I mean, they got a long way to go, and I think it's a good thing. I mean, because it just means they have to go hard in the gaming realm, and in making great video games to get all those people to come over if these are their expectations, because they're very far. What are they at? Probably 35 million Game Pass subscribers right now, something like
They
that.
just recently talked a little bit about numbers. I can't remember
Yeah,
what
I
it
think I
is.
just bumped it up like 5 million from the numbers I seen, but just accounting for like Starfield and the popularity of that and whatnot, I'm just gonna add 35 million. So we got about what 75 million to go, something like that, 65 million to get that far in 7 years. So I just think that means like, hey, they gotta go. I mean, and we're seeing it too with their last E3 conference or whatever the fuck we're calling it nowadays. How hard they're going in the gaming realm, and like they gotta put out great games consistently to get that number and keep it going up and up and up and up. So yeah, long way to go, but gonna be exciting times over the next decade just to see that.
Yeah, I'd be curious how many Game Pass subscribers they have by the end of the year.
Yeah, me too. I really want to see how
Starfield's
much
got
that
time.
number jumped up with Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield's gonna have time, then Forza.
Yeah,
I think between those two, I'm curious at how much it jumps. And then they're gonna have a pretty big year next year, so um, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the number.
definitely. And then there's some other stuff going on. So they had a whole graph of new types of hardware they plan on putting out. So there was a cloud device in there, like we were just talking about. But there's also a handheld device in there, which is very interesting. Then they have their own mouse and keyboard, a one-handed controller, which might just be the accessibility thing, but could also be something new. And then they're leaning big at the mobile, high-end PC, cloud. They're really attacking gaming from like all fronts, except VR. But
I just
who
don't think
knows?
that they see VR to be
Yeah,
viable right now.
yeah, no,
Maybe if
no,
it does become that, maybe they'll do something.
yeah. Probably get on that. I think it's a lot like people were talking about for years. Like VR is gonna become much more than gaming at some point, or they're just used for a lot of other things than
It already kind of
video
is.
games at some point.
People are
Yeah,
using it for other things already. So
yeah. But what I am very interested in is the handheld. That sounds extremely interesting to me. It would probably just be a cloud-based handheld.
for sure.
Yeah. So, but still, that'd be again like we were just talking about playing games through the cloud on your phone. You could also just do it on a dedicated handheld device that makes it look nice and stuff like that too.
Maybe
So,
partner with someone.
yeah,
Like partner with Samsung. They already have deal with Samsung and the TVs. So Samsung has awesome phones. They're like one of the best phone companies. So partner with them or something.
yeah. It's also Phil had that thing in like the background of one of his interviews that looked like a handheld at one point, and he likes to
Oh,
like do
did
shit
he?
in the background stuff. Yeah, I forget what they call
Interesting.
that. Like it's like Project Keystone or something like that.
Oh
So
yes,
yeah,
yes,
that
yes, yes.
thing. Yeah, so that could be referring to this too. So I would expect some some form of a Xbox handheld to come out in the near future. Honestly, I wouldn't 2025 ish, right around there. I wouldn't be surprised.
Hmm, interesting. Try to eat
Uh,
some of that Switch.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, I'd expect all these guys to start doing something like that. I mean, Valve's already doing it. PlayStation's
Hmm.
putting out that Portal thing. I mean, I think we're just gonna be seeing a lot more of those with the success of the Switch, right?
We already kind of have too. Logitech and Asus. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. Moving on then. Phil Spencer really wants Microsoft to buy Nintendo. This came out from an email in 2020. He said it would be a career moment for him to buy Nintendo. Daniel.
Yeah, this feels overblown. If you
Yeah, a
ask
little
me,
bit.
I don't really know if they're trying to buy Nintendo.
Yeah, it kind of just felt like an email between
Yeah,
I don't who was the email to? Is it saying here?
yeah. There was a guy that was asking. So, if I remember correctly, I looked a little bit into this one. The guy that was like, he was just like a Microsoft executive, and they were talking about like at the time that Microsoft was looking maybe to acquire TikTok because they were going to be have to sell in the U.S. or something, and I think the guy asked Phil about like what other like big brands would be to buy that they could buy, and like I guess Nintendo somehow got thrown in there. I don't think that this was really like I don't think that Phil was really actually trying to buy Nintendo or is really that
I mean, I'm
interested,
sure they
even
would
if
love to, right?
yeah,
Like, of
exactly.
course they
I'm sure
would.
they would
Why,
love to.
why wouldn't you? You know, it's a good thing he thinks like that. So they want to be. What also came out in this thing is they want to be market leader by 2030. That's also a thing that they want to be the video game leader by 2030. And to do that, yeah, you would need to buy something like Nintendo. Now, this was way before they bought Activision Blizzard
Mhm.
or were in the process of buying Activision Blizzard. So I think that's probably off the table now. You know, I don't think that anyone would even let them buy Nintendo at this point after buying Activision Blizzard. Probably not. So yeah, you know, yeah, I do think it's a little overblown. It's a little odd to me that he would consider that an achievement of his or a goal, as he put it. You know, because
Yeah.
it's like you're not doing anything, Phil. You know, like you're not signing the check. You know, that's also not an accomplishment. It's not like when PlayStation bought Bungie or when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, we were all like, "Oh wow, what an achievement for Xbox or PlayStation." You know what I mean? It's not an
Yeah.
achievement. Like all you guys did is sign a check. That's not like creating games is an achievement. Buying a company,
You're
that's
looking at it from the creative and like the art perspective. He's in terms of that being the achievement, like Phil is a businessman at the end of the day. So like in terms of business, that's an achievement.
sure, but like, is he even the one negotiating those deals? You know?
Phil's the one handshaking it.
Yeah.
Satya will sign the check.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't.
But Satya didn't do anything. He just signed the check. If
Sure.
Phil, you know what I
I
mean. So
mean,
if Phil's the
neither of you
one,
really did anything. The people that earned all trillions of dollars for Microsoft over the years, those are the people that really would feel the accomplishment of being able to purchase Nintendo. Not necessarily Phil.
well, okay. If I'm looking at it from the business perspective, right?
Yeah.
Who is going to be over there to go talk to Furukawa? Phil,
I mean,
right?
it's more than
Is
likely
Phil?
someone we don't know the name of,
Well, that's true
or
too. I mean, it'll
multiple
also
lawyers that we don't
there'll
know
be
the names
executives
of.
and lawyers, and but Phil is the head of not only of Xbox, he's the head of Microsoft's gaming division. Nintendo is a gaming company right now. I mean, they have other things. They're doing movies and merchandise, but they are a video game company. So if they're going to Kyoto and meeting with Furukawa, right? Phil's the one shaking that hand.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just odd to me that he would consider
I
that
agree.
an
I'm just trying to
achievement, you
understand it.
know? Yeah.
I'm just yeah. I'm
Yeah,
trying
and
to
again, this is probably just like an offset email where he just,
yes. I
yeah,
don't think that
he's not all that serious. I don't know. It's like us talking in Discord. We're just joking around the whole fucking time. You know,
yeah.
it's not that serious. But nonetheless, a little weird. That's a goal. But yeah, I don't think there's any reason to fear Xbox buying Nintendo because I don't think that would ever happen.
No, and not you know not even as of now. Maybe a few years ago when the Wii U was bad. I
Sure,
feel like a lot of
that
people
would
were
have been the
thinking
time.
maybe they wouldn't even be bought, but maybe they wouldn't make hardware anymore, right? That was kind of the talk that maybe hey maybe they should just become a software company. And honestly, I still feel that way. I don't think Nintendo should make hardware. I don't really think they make very good hardware. I think they make interesting hardware and interesting ideas in the hardware space, but I just don't think they make very good hardware. So
Sure.
if maybe Microsoft were to acquire them, maybe they can. Maybe if Phil didn't mess with them at all and just let them be, but they were like, yeah, let's up the hardware game just a bit. Maybe that could be a good thing for Nintendo.
Yeah, I think especially with all this cloud shit ramping up, I think we'll look back as like, oh, the Switch came out at the perfect time, you know? Because if we are in a world where you can just stream that stuff to your phone and the Switch kind of becomes irrelevant, or every company has a dedicated handheld system that you can just stream games from the cloud from, that kind of makes the Switch and the whole appeal of it irrelevant then at that point. So I think we'll really come like 2030s, we'll really look back and be like, oh wow, the Switch just came out at the perfect time before all the cloud stuff started popping off.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nintendo's going to kind of stick with the hybrid console thing, anyways.
They kind of have to now, right? But you know, eventually, if we, like I was just saying, if we are at a place where every company has a handheld system, it'll just be like, oh, okay, it's not that cool anymore. And they might have to pivot to something else.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Moving on then. Let's see. We don't have to talk about all this stuff. Let's see. I mean, Phil recognized that there was a huge gap in its 2022 game lineup. We all knew that. We're already through that too.
Hmm.
We did get a little bit of estimates of what they think games cost to put on Game Pass. So it's not like the
Hmm.
exact price, but it is like so. Like Jedi Survivor, they figured would cost $300 million to put on Game Pass day one to get there. It's interesting seeing these numbers, and then like something like Baldur's Gate 3 that they figured at the time, way before it released, would be 5 million to put on Game Pass day one.
I think at least with the Fallen Order, or I'm sorry, not Fallen Order, Survivor,
Yeah,
Jedi Survivor game, like that's going to come to Game Pass no matter what. So I think they're looking at it from that perspective too. Like with the EA deal already, it's going to come to Game Pass, so they don't necessarily need it
Yeah,
day
what is it,
one.
like after 6 months or whatever, right?
I forget the time frame, but yeah,
Something like that. Whenever
it's
it
not a
comes to
full
EA
year.
Access, it'll also
Exactly.
come to Game Pass because EA Access goes through Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to see some more here. Let's see. Red Dead
They
2,
wanted to
they
get
thought 5 million a month. Oh, and then Red Dead 2 also, at least as of May 2022, it seems Xbox at least thought there was a next gen version in development, and they figured that would cost $5 million a month to get on Game Pass
interesting.
day one.
Yeah, I'm surprised they still haven't done like a next gen update yet, but
Yeah, me too.
um they wanted to get all the From games, all the Souls games
Yeah,
on there. I remember seeing that one as well.
yeah.
Um
It's interesting because this is like really irrelevant now because we're already past the point of the gap, as Phil put it.
mhm.
Yeah. So, and I mean, Starfield's out, Forza's coming out soon, so the gap is filled, and not filled, but complete. So, yeah, it's and I mean they did do good during that time. I can't remember specifically what came out, but
Pentiment?
there was a yeah, Pentiment. There was a bunch of shit that well, yeah, but not on the first party side. Like
Oh, you mean third party
just like
stuff.
what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
filled that gap with. I feel like they filled that gap pretty well. I don't know.
yeah.
It
I
didn't
mean Plague
feel that
Tale.
long to me, you know. Yeah, Plague Tale, stuff like that. Yeah, there was a bunch of shit that came out in that time, and a lot of games too. I think unfortunately got delayed a little bit out that window because they're having like a hell of a month right now on Game Pass with Liza
Well,
P, Payday
Redfall,
3, and all that.
Starfield were both supposed to be last year, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
like those were
Well,
two
that's what
things
he
that
talks
were
about with the gap is that the
yeah,
that Starfield and Redfall ended
just
up getting
delays. I
delayed out
mean,
of those years.
we keep getting a lot of delays, and that's just the industry.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's most interesting to see at least what they think this stuff costs to put on Game Pass.
It's
It's
gonna be
interesting to
expensive.
know.
They
Yeah,
gotta offset
I'm
some.
curious what their budget is for like a year. Like how much money does Xbox get a year to spend on putting games on Game Pass a year? I'd
A
be very
great
interested to
question.
know that, you know. Yeah, because like damn, you guys could be going all out. Cuz you know, they haven't really gotten something as big as Jedi Survivor, I don't feel. On the third party side.
Yeah, what do you think is the biggest third party game
Yeah, that's I'm trying to think of. You know, cuz it's
that
like
has just launched?
yeah, I mean, Liza P is big, but that's like, you know, that's an indie developer. That's not like the biggest game ever. But
I mean,
you know, Payday
Outriders is
3
pretty
is
big.
big. Yeah, Outriders was pretty big at the time. Again, a new IP. You could see why Square would kind of want to put that on a live service, not a live service, a subscription service thing.
Exo
Yeah, I don't know.
Primal, same thing.
Exo Primal, yeah, same thing. So yeah, I don't know what the biggest one has really been, you know. It's like
Hmm.
we've always theorized is like, oh, what if they put like the next Assassin's Creed or you know, I remember before Cyberpunk we were all talking about, oh, what if they got Cyberpunk on Game Pass and stuff like that. They haven't really done something to that
Like a Dragon
scale.
Gaiden is gonna launch.
That was big, right? Oh, the guidance is that the man without a
Hmm.
name or whatever
That's
one. Okay.
launching.
Yeah, that's pretty big as well. Yeah. But again, that's a smaller title from them, right? That's not the full fledged. See, if
It's
they
not the
get
full.
Infinite Wealth, that'll be big.
Yeah,
That'll probably be the
that would be
biggest.
huge. Yeah.
Maybe I don't. It depends who you ask, I guess. But yeah, yeah. I'm curious to see if they do end up getting a bigger one, or if they just rely on first party for the bigger side of games. You know. Moving on then. FTC blames Microsoft for the leaks. We talked about that. Let's see. Xbox really underestimated Baldur's Gate 3. I think we all did.
I think
Uh,
everyone underestimated maybe just in terms of sales, but like in terms of critical
sure.
success, I could have told you that game was gonna be good,
Yeah.
especially with who's
We
making
all
it.
try to pick it up for fantasy.
Yeah, I know. That was like
Bastards.
gonna be my second pick, but I couldn't do it.
I tried that my first. I remember that. Yeah. I mean that's pretty much all they got here. I don't know if I'm missing anything that comes to mind for you.
Mm.
Okay, and then we can go over the games actually with the Bethesda game leak side.
Oh yes, that was the other.
Yeah.
That was the
That
last
was
big
probably
thing.
the biggest thing here, I think.
Yes,
But
and I actually forget what was on everything that was on that too.
we can go through all of them.
Cool.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong link. Let's see here. So yeah, there was also a document from 2020 that leaked the upcoming slate of Bethesda Game Studio, not Game Studio, Bethesda Softworks whole game slate
Yeah, these
for
dates
all
they're
their
gonna be wrong.
studios. Yeah, and they're and these go by their financial year, and you'll see as we read through these, their financial year was way off because
Yeah.
a lot of these ended up getting delayed. So for financial year 2022, they were planning on well, let's see. Let's go all the way back to 2020 first. So for 2020, which all of these did actually come out because this is when the document did come out. They had Doom Eternal, Elder Scrolls Online DLC, Fallout 76 DLC, and then Deathloop. That hit.
Hmm.
And then 2021, they were planning to release Starfield that year, Redfall that year, more Doom Eternal DLC, Ghostwire Tokyo, which then ended up coming out to 2022, more Fallout 76 DLC, and then something called Project Heapkai, which I think people were theorizing this was Hi-Fi Rush.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, so they were planning on that stuff to come out in 2021. Obviously, that stuff got delayed years and years. Oh, a couple of years. 2 years for Redfall and Starfield, and Hi-Fi Rush, actually.
Hmm.
Then for their financial year 2022, they're planning on the Indiana Jones game coming out, the Oblivion remaster, which a lot of people were surprised to see Oblivion remastered. We talked about this on the show like a month ago, and this was reported on by I think it was VGC that reported on it first. It's supposed to be
Hmm.
Virtuous Studio heading develop on this, which is
Interesting.
those are the guys also making the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake.
Hmm.
So seems like that's just becoming a remake
That's a
studio.
huge team too.
Yeah, yeah, somewhere in Europe, I believe. With
Well,
them.
I'll just throw it in here real quick,
Yeah.
just because they just announced they're opening a new studio in Tokyo too.
Mm,
So Virtuos is just getting bigger too.
makes a lot of sense.
So,
How do you feel about Oblivion Remastered? I don't think you were on that episode. I think that was me and
uh,
Sim's episode.
that is a game that I got right around when it came out, and I was just not in that headspace to play a game like that at the time. So I didn't really like deep dive into it, but I enjoyed the little bit that I did play. So it's a game I would like to go back. Like that's a part of that like few Bethesda games. I'd like to go play Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout 3, and New Vegas. That's kind of like all four of those are kind of in my wanting to go through them.
Yeah, I would love a remaster of this. I would play the shit out of it. So yeah, I'd be hyped. I know Todd Howard has always been against those because he's always kind of wanted people to go back and play them as they were. So
I'm cool with that. As long as they're
yeah,
playable, I'm cool with
and it's
just
already got a
having the
nice
games playable.
what is it, the frame per second update or
Yeah, the
whatever
FPS
on
boost.
Series X. Yeah, so you can go back and play it that way. I'm curious how deep they go. Is this more of a remaster remake type thing? Is this just a straight up
I'd assume so.
remaster? Yeah, I'm just curious to see how far they go with it. But if they were planning on releasing it the year after Starfield, it could be coming out next year, you know. It's
That makes sense.
yeah, so who knows? That could be something we get next year. We'll have to
Might do
see.
some
And then
Starfield
the Indiana
DLC.
Jones game as well. They were planning for the year after Starfield. So I wonder if that's also closer than we think. I know Todd Howard recently said they'll start talking about it next year.
Machine
So
Games haven't put out a game in a while.
very long time, yeah. It's interesting. Breaks my heart, Daniel.
Maybe
No,
5 years.
no Wolfenstein 3 on this list.
Oh boy.
Breaks my heart. Breaks my
No.
heart.
I just want Wolfenstein 3.
Yeah, and then the Starfield DLC. So I would expect Starfield DLC next year. I don't think
Next year.
that's surprising. Yes,
Nope.
sometime next year, probably summerish, if I had to guess, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first one, I'd imagine there'll be
Spring, May, maybe.
tons of expansions for Starfield. So yeah, I would definitely expect one next year. So then financial year 2023, they had something called Doom Year Zero and its DLC. Two different projects with code names, and then another Elder Scrolls Online expansion. So, Daniel, Doom Year Zero. This is
Mhm.
very interesting. A Doom game we have yet to hear about, apparently, in the works somewhere at Bethesda.
It's been quiet for, what, 3 years now?
Yeah,
So I guess they did the ancient ones, whatever that was called. Those 2 DLCs for Eternal, Doom Eternal, but
I'm
they've
curious if
generally been pretty
those
quiet.
wrapped up the story, sort of.
Apparently they did.
Yeah, if those wrapped up the Doom story and we're doing a prequel now, is that what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if this is kind of a soft reboot again. I'm
Yeah,
not sure. Because I know that the big rumor was Quake, them kind of rebooting Quake, which I think is interesting. I kind of would want that because like we've already gotten 2 Doom games.
I was thinking about that. What if, I mean, what if this just got turned into a Quake game, somewhere along the line? If they were like, hey, this might
That
better fit
sounds
into a Quake game, Because they play very similarly, right? Like,
for the
theoretically,
most
they would
part.
play very similarly. I'm sure there's, what if somewhere along the line they were just like, hey, what if we just made this a Quake game instead?
Quake's more
That
of
could
an
be a
arena
possibility.
shooter in terms of its multiplayer.
Yeah,
I'm not in terms of its single player. I'm not too sure.
yeah,
Um, yeah, just looking at this leak, it doesn't feel like has become a Quake game. It just feels like another Doom game.
sure.
But yeah, I don't know what a year zero would be. So you just following Doom guys like earlier years as a Marine or something? Because that doesn't seem nearly as interesting. Like
Oh,
he's
that'd
not
be
fighting
boring as fuck.
demons in year one. Yeah,
That would fucking
yeah.
suck. It's a caveman game, I'm telling you.
A caveman game.
Caveman game, yeah.
Yeah.
You're riding
Yeah.
dinosaurs and shit. I'd love it. Let's go, you know? He gets sent back in time, Daniel, to like,
So there are demons
prehistoric
in the
periods.
cave there.
Demons and dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Id, come on now. On to something here. And then yeah, two projects with code names. Who knows what those are? I'm trying to think like what teams would be up, you know? It's yeah, tough
The
one.
first one that comes to my mind is Double Fine. For
See,
a lot of these
this
studios
is
that
all
we don't
Bethesda
know.
though.
Oh, this is Bethesda. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, it's all just Bethesda. So unfortunately,
Um,
no Xbox first party studios. None of
yeah.
their stuff leaked.
So who else is not around?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Because in the next financial year, I would think Tango GameWorks, but in the next financial year, they have a Ghostwire Tokyo sequel. So it's like, okay, probably not Tango then. I'm just trying to think. There was
Machine's
that
doing-
rumor that the ESO developers were making the Star Wars game. If you remember that,
Yeah,
So I'm wondering
I
if they're
remember that.
making something else behind the scenes. But there's also a here. Let me just read the next financial year as well, because
Okay.
there's some other interesting tidbits in there. So the next financial year, they thought Elder Scrolls 6 possibly, a licensed IP game, which was there's those rumors of a Star Wars game being made by those the ESO company, which that would be interesting. And then Dishonored 3 as well on the list. And then, like I said, Ghostwire Tokyo sequel, and then more expand. Oh, and then also Fallout 3 remastered. So
Okay.
a lot in that last financial year. I'm wondering if they just kind of threw stuff into that last financial year and weren't actually expecting stuff to come out on that date. I don't think they were
Could be.
probably expecting any of this stuff to come out in these years, but
Yeah.
well, this might have
they're
been. I wonder if this
projections.
was before COVID too. Because
They're right kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Never knowing how it's going to affect things, right? And
Right.
they're just projections at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like you can only guess as to the best of your ability and theirs.
So yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of interesting stuff in there.
What about ZeniMax Online? Right, like that's another studio.
Is
I'm
that
not
the
really
ESO
sure.
studio?
Oh, is that who? Is that
I think
who does?
I
That
yeah,
would
I
make
think they
sense, but
are
I
the
thought that
ESO
was-
studio.
I thought there was another weird online studio as well. Isn't
Maybe
there?
they have two teams or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how Bethesda's structured.
I thought that there was two like online studios,
You might be
but that
right.
could be ZeniMax Online.
There
now that
also
I'm
has
thinking
to be
about it.
one working on 76 too, right? So
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
there's
yeah,
two
I'm-
arcane teams. Maybe one of those other ones.
Oh
is the
yeah,
other
good point.
arcane
Good point.
team.
Yeah. What if after
'Cause
Redfall,
Dishonored 3 would probably be
Arcane Leon, right?
yeah
Yeah.
the Deathloop people.
Yeah,
right?
it would have to be.
It sounds like it. Well, which is interesting because it sounded like we were potentially getting either Deathloop DLC or a sequel.
Right. We did
From
get
that voice
DLC
actor.
in that
Oh, was
that
it? But there wasn't like a
golden
big
update
expansion,
or whatever.
right?
There was not a big expansion, but there was more added content in.
So you
in
think that
that
those
thing.
lines were just that, and that was it?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It depends when he said that stuff. I can't remember exactly.
It was definitely before that came out. So
there's a very real
so-
possibility that whatever they were planning for Dishonored 3 got turned into Deathloop 2 instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? They're probably just going to move to Dishonored 3 Leon. Which is actually interesting too. If you know how they worked, like I think Austin did Dishonored 1, Leon did 2. And then I guess they're gonna do 3 now, which would be interesting. And I wanted Dishonored 3. And I assume Leon also did that big expansion, the Death of the Outsider. Which I didn't play that one. Yeah, so Austin's got to be doing something, right? As well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they would have to pick up on something, especially. I mean, who
So
knows
you think
now?
that could be one
right?
of those two that are
one of the projects? Yeah. There's another project in the financial year 2024. So it's just obviously all these teams would have had to move on to something, right? So
yeah, I assume Wolfenstein 3 has to be in there, even if they're doing.
maybe it
Indie.
is one of these projects.
Got to be somewhere. And then I assume Austin's probably making either a Prey sequel or they're going to make some other new IP that's going to be in that
Prey would be
same kind of
interesting.
normal arcane vein. They're going to go back to that. Austin's going to go, once they kind of keep updating Redfall, they're going to go and do like a more traditional arcane game.
Sure. Yeah, so obviously plans change, and I mean, especially considering this is before Xbox even bought them, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
playing. Who knows what's actually real, what's not, and all that stuff. Fallout 3 remastered, cool. I would expect that to be on the same lines of the Oblivion remastered, right? Could even be
Hmm.
being made by Virtuos as well. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. Make it a combo pack. That'd be cool. An Oblivion Fallout 3 combo
Mm.
pack.
They
I'd
want that
love that.
money.
Yeah, they want
Uh-uh.
that money. I know. I know. Fallout 3.
Those games would sell.
I'd play the shit out of a Fallout 3 remaster though. That's one of my favorite games of all time. So yeah, give it to me. I'll take it. Ghostwire Tokyo sequel. Curious if they stick to that now. With it did pretty well, Ghostwire Tokyo. So
Yeah, it's a good
I
game.
wouldn't be surprised if there's a sequel in there. What I would want though, Daniel, is a Hi-Fi Rush sequel
Please,
over the Ghostwire
please,
Tokyo thing. Like double
please.
down on Hi-Fi Rush instead of Ghostwire Tokyo. I'd
Yes,
say let's do that.
give me one.
Yeah, Dishonored 3. I know Sim's not here. He would be super. I know he was freaking out about that. So yeah, hopefully it's real just for his sake.
And me and him are
Um,
both pretty big Dishonored fans, so I know that him
yeah,
not
I gotta
being
go back
here,
and play those at some point. Whenever there's a gap in gaming,
yeah,
maybe
he's
I'll
my
check those
Dishonored
out.
brother.
Yeah, and then the license IP. Yeah, could be that Star Wars thing. I think it'd be very smart for Xbox to. I guess this wasn't even an Xbox decision considering this before they purchased them, but I think it'd be very smart for Xbox, especially with them wanting a huge amount of Game Pass subscribers to get a licensed game going, some single
Yeah,
player sort of thing, in the vein of Spider-Man over at
you got to work with
PlayStation or
DC.
something like that. Yeah, I mean we saw from these documents as well. It's one thing they were heavily interested in purchasing WB games, right? So which I know there was those rumors a couple years ago that WB Games was trying to sell off. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think we even theorized at the time that Xbox would be a good partner for that. But it seems
Yeah,
like that's kind of off the table now in purchasing WB games, especially with the success of Hogwarts Legacy and stuff, right?
yeah. It seems like they're not maybe as dire as they were like
They
3 years
were, yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
So it feels like Hogwarts is probably really keeping them afloat,
Yeah.
which is actually really interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much all the big stuff from the Xbox leak. Good little leak. Biggest gaming leak of
Yeah,
the year, probably.
yeah. I mean, probably what is this the biggest leak since the Nvidia leak?
Yeah, probably.
At least
Right up there with
right
that.
around.
There's
Yeah,
also a whole bunch of mobile stuff that are
no
just
one cares about mobile.
yeah, no one cares. Just unannounced projects going on over there. But yeah, it's a big leak. I think I saw a funny tweet from someone in the games industry that was just like, "Oh, everyone's freaking out over Xbox having a mid-gen refresh, Bethesda doubling down on their popular IP, and a new console coming out from Xbox in 2028. That's it." And it was like, yeah, that's really it. Yeah, it's like all stuff we all could have predicted, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, nothing too
It's funny.
surprising.
We didn't even talk about this real quick. The 2028 just seems perfect. Like that is just what every game. These past two generations have been 7 to 8 years, so that
Yeah,
just makes sense.
yeah, makes complete and utter sense. So yes, continuing on then with the news. We don't have it in here, but the Xbox Tokyo Game Show thing
Yeah.
happened. What all came out is Octopath Traveler 2 is coming to Xbox early next
Yep.
year.
Early next year.
Like a Dragon, The Man Without a Face, and Like a
Nope.
Dragon Inshin. No, that's not it. The Man
No,
Without a
it's Lucky
Name.
Dragon Gaiden.
The
It's
Man
the man
Without
who
a
erased
Name.
his name.
That erased his name. He didn't have a
Man
face at
without a
one point.
face.
And Like a Dragon, what's the other one? Ishin?
Ishin. Yeah.
Ishin, the one that came out earlier this year in like February.
Mhm.
Those are both coming to Game Pass. The Man Who Erased His Name will be out day one on Game Pass. I
Yeah.
believe it's November
Sweet.
9th. Was there anything else that came out from that? That was big?
There was the new Swery game. The new
Sure.
Swery's directing and writing.
Was
Writing
that
and
announced
directing.
at the Xbox show?
It was announced at Tokyo Game Show. It was at the Xbox show, so I
Oh,
assumed
okay,
that
cool.
that was one of the first places you'd see it. Um, yeah, I think it's called Hotel Barcelona. I think you didn't
Barcelona.
tell me the name
I
before we
couldn't
started.
find it. Sorry.
Okay, okay. I think it's called Hotel Barcelona. Looks really cool. Looks very goofy and very sweary. So, I think it's come out next year. So yeah,
Cool. All right.
more
Well,
games next year.
more games. We should have more Tokyo Game Show news next week, I believe. So I think
Okay,
Square will be doing a conference and all that stuff over the next week or so. So who knows? Give me a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. Just a
please.
random one. No date or anything. No,
More feet.
just more feet. More feet. That's all we need. Next up, then Daniel, Sony held a PlayStation State of Play last week Thursday. We are gonna go over it. Daniel, what did you think of the State of Play?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Really, only one trailer worth it out of the whole thing for the most part for me, and the rest of it was just kind of it didn't really feel necessary. It didn't really feel like a lot new, except for got a little bit more Spider-Man and got a new Rebirth trailer, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. You know, I think they did a good job with keeping expectations very low, considering they just announced it the day before that there would be a state of play. And
Yeah,
you know, it's always best to do that way, I think. You know, just kind of no expectations, don't let people theorize for a long time, don't sit on it for a long time. Don't hype it up too much. And yeah, that's what we got. It's just you know, I think they're contractually obligated to do these type of things sometimes.
definitely
So
with these partners. Yeah,
yeah, with these partners. So I think they just kind of have to put this stuff out. And I thought it was pretty good. We got some good trailers. I like a lot of them. So yeah, let's go over it.
yeah. Real quick, they said third-party direct, and then they showed Spider-Man.
They did show Spider Man.
Come on.
They did show
Like,
Spider Man. You
don't do
lying.
that
You
because you're
lying.
just playing with everyone. Because then everyone's
Playing with my
every time
emotions.
there's a state of play, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, they said third party." But remember the one where they showed Spider Man? Maybe they'll show whatever. Or they'll show Ghost of Tsushima 2 at this one. You know, it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Just say it's
Yeah, I
third
guess
party
you
and
are
let it
kind
be
of setting
third
up
party.
expectations there, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First game they showed off then Baby Steps, some new VR game where you walk around really weird. This is a funny trailer.
Yeah. Have you said? Did you remember this guy's the other guy's game? What was the name of that game? Because this is Bennett Foddy who's making this. So it's really goofy and it's got a goofy style or whatever. But it was that game where the guy's sitting in the pot with the hammer and you're like trying to get up. Is it Getting Up? Is that what
Oh
it's
yeah,
called?
yeah, yeah. I remember that. You had like a
Something like that.
pickaxe or some shit, and you were going with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like
yeah.
going up and like this is that guy. So
Yeah, a lot of
like
these type of games are just like they seem like they're just meant for Twitch streamers, you know, and like just to have people laugh at you when you're playing it. You
yeah.
know, it's So I get the appeal, but I don't know, not typically something I'm
I don't really
interested
think this
in.
was a great trailer to be honest.
I thought it was funny, especially when he said
It had
"fuck."
some
I was like, where did that come from?
yeah, it was definitely a funny trailer. I just don't think it was a very good trailer.
Sure, yeah. I just don't think the game's gonna be good.
Yeah, yeah. It'd probably be just goofy to
Well,
to
like, why do you want to have a hard time walking while you're playing a game? You know, it's like,
because
all
it's
right,
goofy.
because it's
That's why.
goofy. All right, whatever, I guess. Next game then, they showed off Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord, which is a new VR game. In the Ghostbusters universe. There you go.
Still supporting VR, which is a good thing, but man, VR seems very dire.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's a good thing they're showing off their VR stuff, I guess. But yeah, I don't until they get something first party. I'm not really gonna care too much, you know.
Yeah.
Next then, Resident Evil 4 is getting DLC. Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways, the Adawan DLC, is
Close.
already out today. Adawan, excuse me.
There you
Yeah,
go.
whatever. Ada, who cares? Yeah, this was a DLC that was already made back in the day, I guess. I never heard of this before.
Yeah. Yeah, this was on the original game had this DLC. I never
Cool.
played it, but
Must have been like a first DLC thing, you know, like one of the first
I mean, it was
waves
definitely
of
early for
DLC.
DLC, but
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
It's like this and the Oblivion horse armor, right?
The horse armor, let's go.
That horse armor broke ground, so let me tell you. Any interest in this stuff?
Not really.
No, I'll
I'll
play this.
probably I'll probably like watch some of it just to kind of see what the new stuff is for it, but I generally don't play DLC, so
Apparently, it's 7 chapters. I'm like, oh, that's pretty lengthy.
it's a
Like,
decent chunk
yeah,
for
that's a decent chunk. I
yeah.
plan on playing this. I don't know when, but I'll play it at some point. Why not?
I think if I remember, it takes place mostly on the island. She's doing
Yeah,
a lot on the
it
island
seems like it's
section.
like at the same time as Resident Evil 4 is taking place, so there's just all the stuff Ada was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out at some point. Then we got another trailer for Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Daniel, how you feeling on this game?
Yeah, honestly, I still don't know what to feel about this game.
Yeah,
I love Far Cry so much, and like it seems cool. I like the world of Avatar. I still need to see the second movie.
I've
Um,
neither.
yeah, it's on HBO, but yeah, I don't know. I need to see more. Maybe wait for some reviews to really decide if I want to even play it.
7s and 8s. Tell you right now. Yeah, I think this game looks pretty cool actually. Obviously it's just Far Cry with an Avatar skin, so I'm like, I'm down with that. That sounds fun to me. I like flying on those little creatures. That sounds
Wish it
cool.
was third person, but
Yeah, yeah, I don't really mind the first person aspect. That's yeah, I can see either. Third
I
person
want
when
to
you're
see my
flying.
blue person.
You want to see your little blue
Yeah,
person. You want to look down on the humans when you're fucking 20 feet
exactly.
tall.
Yeah, stop on these little people.
uh, yeah, I might pick this game up. We'll see. We'll see. Probably wait for review, like you said. Them getting a trailer for Ghost Runner 2 coming out in October.
Game looks really cool, but I don't know if I'm gonna even have time to even check it out.
Yeah,
I didn't
October's a
really
busy
beat the
month
first
for
game.
that.
I liked the first game
Yeah,
from
I
what
didn't
I
either.
played,
I only played a couple levels. Yeah,
but
but
we have Neon White now, so we don't need it.
good point. Good point. Give
This
me
game's
Neon
not
White
gonna be
too.
better than
Let's do
Neon
that.
White.
Let's do that instead.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, it's not better than Neon White, and we haven't even played it yet.
Then they announced the Deep Earth Collection, which is just new colors for the controllers and panels of the PlayStation 5 and the
That red
DualSense.
looks about the same as the other red.
Yeah. So it's red, blue, and silver. Good colors.
I like the silver.
Yeah, silver's cool. Then we got another trailer for Helldivers 2 and a release date of February 9th, 2024.
This trailer did not do this game justice because I think there's a lot that looks cool about this game. Like I think the first game had a lot of charming with its top-down perspective, and being multiplayer and stuff. Like I played a decent chunk of that first game, like at least 3 to 4 player co-op, and we had fun with it. We didn't really like get that far in the game, but having this type of perspective, I don't know if it's gonna work completely for the game, but like I'm interested to see what if this game is good. But this trailer just felt weird. Like I don't know, I just wasn't feeling kind of the vibe of the trailer. I don't really know if I like kind of the fake people talking and all that. I don't know. It just doesn't. This is not a. It just. I don't think it was a very
Cover
good.
me, I'm Russian B.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
Exactly.
one of those. Yeah, not my type of game. I've like really no interest in playing this, especially after seeing that trailer. But delayed out of 2023. Interesting.
Probably good for the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say good choice because coming out in October or November when you're Helldivers 2, that's not gonna go well for you. So yeah, good choice to delay the game out of the year, I think. So
Wait for like April or May or something.
yeah. Next, then we got another Spider-Man 2 trailer. It's got to be one of the last trailers we're getting. Probably not actually. We got a whole month, so they'll probably release a new trailer every goddamn week with this game. Danielle, I did not watch this trailer. I skipped this.
You didn't?
No, I'm good, man. I'm not watching Spider-Man 2 trailers. I will wait for the game.
Did you not watch this whole thing? I just assumed you watched the whole thing.
I fast forwarded through this
Oh,
part,
okay.
so I was
Okay.
like, yeah, I'm not.
That makes sense.
I'm good.
Honestly,
I'm good.
this might have been one of their better trailers, but like, it's just I don't know. I know that they feel like they need to keep showing things. Again, this is a third party direct, and it's just stuck out. Even though I think it was a good trailer, but yeah, I mean, I'm already gonna get the game. Like, I'm not. I guess they try to get more people, but like, I don't know who is watching this that wasn't already going to play Spider-Man.
They're not. I mean, the whole point of the
You know?
Spider-Man trailer is to upload it online after, and then casual people that don't watch state
Yeah.
of plays watch it after. Yeah, so it really is pointless to put in the state of play. But I get it. It's their big fall game. They're just gonna throw as many trailers as they can in that. They're gonna try to hype this up as much as possible. And yeah, I'm very excited for the game. So I don't really need to see more. I don't really want to know about the story and stuff. So yeah, Spider-Man 2 went gold yesterday. So coming out in a month.
Yeah.
Next, then we got Tales of Arise. I believe this is DLC called Beyond the Dawn.
This is DLC for sure, but
Yeah.
it seems like a very big DLC.
Lengthy expansion.
Yeah, big
Okay.
expansion.
Then we got another trailer for Honkai Star Rail, which I think is coming out next year sometime. Early next year.
It's coming out to PlayStation this year. I think it's already out.
Oh, is it already out on like mobile
think
or
it's
something?
PC
Maybe
and
I'm thinking of
mobile
something
already.
else. I think I'm thinking of that Grand Blue Fantasy game or something
Yes.
like that. I don't know. I get
Yes.
these all confused.
There's a few of these games that look kind of similar, but this game it just got it's play this whatever the date is. I forget the date is the PlayStation release.
Okay, cool. And then we got another trailer for Foam Stars. No release date or anything yet. Daniel, I know you gotta be hyped for Foam Stars.
Dude, you don't even know. I'm
I know you're
so
fucking
ready for
ready.
foam stars. Let's
Hell yeah,
go.
let's go. Let's
Foam,
go. Foam stars.
Connor. I want you to foam all over me. You know,
I'll foam all over your face, right into your left eye. All right, continuing on.
you took it further than I did.
Yeah, probably. And then the last thing, we got a brand new trailer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and a release date of February 29th, 2024. Daniel, are you fucking hyped?
You don't even know.
I don't even know.
You
The
don't even
excitement that
know,
went
dude.
through my veins when I watched this fucking trailer,
As
Daniel.
much as I said that this state of play was kind of whatever, this was definitely the best trailer that
It
was
was all
released
worth it
last
because
year
of
or
this
last
trailer,
week.
Daniel.
Yeah, last week, like we got the Nintendo Direct and this and stuff. Like it's definitely the best trailer we've gotten in a while. Just insane. This game's gonna be incredible.
Looks
So
incredible, dude.
I'm so ready
They're
for this
playing the
game.
mini games, and there was like that one with the original Final Fantasy VII art style or
Yeah,
whatever.
they
Where
were
he's
like
like doing the beat 'em
boxing
up
or something.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know
know what
what
they
was
were
going on
doing.
there, but that looked awesome. He's riding a Segway. I'm like,
I was
oh,
just
let's
going to
go,
say that Cloud was riding a Segway.
let's
Like, are
go.
you kidding me?
2024, the year of Segways, Daniel.
We bringing Segways back
We're bringing Segways back. Can't wait. Can't believe it.
finally.
February 29th. Love the date. It's a great date, especially
Makes sense.
considering yeah,
4 years apart.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's also the leap year day or whatever.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, so it's like one of the only games that can have that date, at least for a while. And yeah, just so cool. I can't wait. I'm extremely excited. Probably my most anticipated game up next year, at least thus far. Yeah, man, I'm hyped.
Yeah. It looks so good.
Yeah, it
Um
really does.
I I really love the key art. I love the because there's two pieces of key art. I sent the other one yesterday, I think, to you guys. I don't know if you saw it. So there's one key art with Sephiroth in the middle and Cloud and Zack on the sides, and then there's another key art with Sephiroth in the middle, Tifa on Cloud's where Cloud was standing, and then Aerith where Zack was standing, and it just looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it looks awesome. I love the what's his name, Red or whatever, the fucking
The
tiger
yeah,
thing.
the
Yeah,
dog
riding a
tiger, yeah.
chocobo.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, great. We're getting a tiger riding a chocobo. Let's go. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, I'm eagerly anticipating this now. Love it too, because love that date. Just don't put anything around it, guys. Don't do it.
What about Kate Sith?
Who
What do you feel
was
like
that? The
Kate Sith?
cat?
That's the cat.
That's the cat. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get introduced to this cat because he was in that one scene in remake
Just the crying
where he
scene is
started
so
screaming.
weird.
It's so odd because I never played Final Fantasy
You
VII.
never. That's the only time you ever hear
And
or
you just
see
see
that
this
cat.
cat screaming. I'm like, who's that fucking cat?
Yeah, if you don't know Final Fantasy VII original and you see that cat, you're like, what is even happening right now?
What is going on? There's a cat
We get
screaming.
Yuffie, right? They show
Yeah,
a shot of
Yuffie's back,
Yuffie.
yeah.
Yuffie's cool. I don't know. Did you played Intermission, right?
No, I didn't play Intermission. I'm gonna have to go back and play that
Oh,
before. Yeah.
it playing as Yuffie's very fun and like there's some cool, interesting story stuff there. It's really short, but I definitely recommend checking it out.
Yeah.
Probably not completely necessary. And then they showed a shot of Vincent
Yeah. It was
coming out
the
of the.
guy in the little coffin thing, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
I think that was Matt Mercer's voice
Oh, interesting.
that is voicing Vincent. Shout
So
out
they
to my
confirmed.
boys.
So there's a bunch of previews going around now
Yeah.
for the game, and people got to play it and stuff at Tokyo Game Show. And apparently Vincent will be a lot like how Red was in Final Fantasy VII Remake, where you won't actually get to play as him, but he can be part of your party or something like that. So that'll be interesting as well to see. Yeah, man, I'm hyped. It's gonna be great. Good timing too.
Yeah, I think now I think this is all the full party members, right? At least, and they're all going to be here in the second game. Now I'm curious, like, man, what's this third game? I know that this is already an extra step,
Yeah.
forward, but like, man, what's this third game going to be?
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts, man. It's gonna be a hell of a trilogy by the time this thing wraps up.
They're hinting. So in this trailer, they hinted at the big thing that happens in the game,
Yeah. Well, I
and
believe
like,
they said it ends there. So
I don't know if it's going to happen. How it happens?
no,
I
it's
really
definitely
don't think it
it's
will.
definitely not. It's probably, I mean, someone else is probably gonna die, I'd imagine.
I mean, I think I know who it's going to be.
Tifa, you think?
No,
No, who?
who else shouldn't be here?
I mean, who else? I don't know. You tell me. I didn't play original.
Zach.
Oh, you think Zack dies there? Interesting.
They're
Yeah, I
gonna keep-
wonder.
Yeah,
They
gonna
also
keep
said
up.
there's a whole Zack chapter, so I guess we're gonna see how he ended up living. It's very interesting, you know.
Yeah, they're going to show a lot. Yeah, they're gonna show a lot.
Show
Like
a
it looks
lot.
like you get to play as Sephiroth, right? In that
Yeah.
opening, because that's like there's like a flashback part of the game where you go and
So
there's
does
like a
that
mission.
go back to Crisis Core time? Kind of that
No,
same mission in Crisis Core? So what?
no. So
I gotta go play Final Fantasy VII
this is
next.
in between.
Okay.
This is in between. So there was like a mission that they go and do, and um this is when Cloud's like did that his town gets burnt down that he talks about.
Yeah.
This is that mission
Okay.
when
All right,
Sephiroth
man.
kind of loses it a bit.
It.
Yeah, he is. Oh boy.
All right. Yeah, can't wait. February 29th. Early next year's looking great, man. I mean, let's continue on with that, shall we? Like a Dragon, our next news story. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth has received the release date of January 28th, 2024. There's also 2 new trailers, one story trailer and then one gameplay trailer. So you can go catch that right now. They did their own Yakuza live stream that they like to do. I forget what they call them exactly. They do their own little directs over there. And yeah, they announced the release date of this. Daniel, earlier than I thought. I was thinking like March, April for this game, but no, this will be kicking off the year, at least for me thus far, for new games in 2024.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe you can correct me because my brain is just not there. There were like I remembered it yesterday and now I can't remember it today. There are 3 games in that January that I wanted to play. It
In
was
January? Because I
yeah, it
know
was
Persona 3 Reload is February 3rd.
yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was Prince of Persia.
Oh
This
yeah, Prince of Persia.
is it Tekken?
Oh, Tekken, you're right. Tekken's the same
Is
date
that
as
it?
this,
It's
actually.
the same day. Okay,
Yeah.
so okay, my brain's still here. So yeah, it's like, but this is the big game. Come on now, like Tekken, I
Yeah.
could just play and pop in. It's just like a Street Fighter, you know. And then Prince of Persia, I'm not sure. I want to play it. I might just have it in the background, find a time to play it. Maybe after these first few months, but like this game is like move out of the way. That's all I gotta say.
Move out the fuck away. Daniel, you'll be so happy to know how happy I was watching this trailer. Like I was
Let's
just
go.
stoked. I was just stoked watching the trailer. I was like, let's go. Like I'm so excited for this. They confirmed it takes place in Hawaii. That's fucking
Yep.
awesome. I think that's so cool. Like a little saddening that we're leaving Japan, I guess, for the game. I wonder if you go back
At
at
least
any
for this
point or something
game.
like. Yeah, at
Um,
least for this game. I
so
guess they do have plenty of games in Japan, so it's not that big a deal, but
it's funny, we're in 2 different positions because you watched the gameplay trailer and I watched the story trailer.
yeah.
So I'm gonna go back and watch the story, the gameplay trailer. I'll tell you that uh, it looks like some of the beginning is them there and Kamurocho, like maybe they're in Yokohama. I don't think they're in Kamurocho. They're in probably Yokohama, and then they're coming over
Yeah.
to Hawaii. So you'll probably start in Yokohama and then get
I know
there.
they said the main synopsis of the game is he's going to find his mom. Evie's mom.
Yes,
Yeah.
gonna find his mom.
I thought.
Pretty much.
Did they say she died or something or got killed? 'Cause she was a prostitute, right? And then what'd she do? Did she
I
just
think all
abandon
that
him? I
was
can't remember exactly.
she abandoned him, but I
Yeah.
think a lot of that was more of. I could be a little wrong. I think a lot of that is like he doesn't really know much about his mother, and like maybe it could be like bending the truth about who she was and stuff. Is what I'm
Okay.
gonna guess that probably wasn't true.
Sure.
So yeah, he's gonna go try to find his mom. Kiryu's there. I don't want to say any spoiler things about Kiryu or
Yeah.
what's happening and anything like that because you haven't watched the story trailer. Kiryu's there. There's a reason why he's there and helping.
Oh, he has a reason as well. Okay.
Yes,
I didn't know if he was
there-
just like part of the crew now and he was just going
he
with.
he is, and it doesn't. So his squad, because if you remember, we theorized, okay, when they had the teaser, they're like both playable, right? It's like, so Kasuga's gonna have his crew that you normally have, and then we were talking is Kiryu going to have Daigao, Saijima, and Majima?
Yeah.
Like, is that going to be his 4? It does not seem like that.
Okay.
They showed them in the story trailer. All 3 of them were in. It seemed like it was in like Kamurocho or something. So there might be a few with him meeting them, but they're at least in the game. I don't know if those 3 are actually going to be. Who knows? But everyone else is coming back. They show like Nanba, Adachi, Saikao, or Saika, or you remember her name?
Yeah, I mean, I probably
it
pronounced it
Saika?
wrong. Then yes, Saki, Saka. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
All 3 of them are back. Zhao's back. Jugihan is back.
Yeah, they even had the girl that was like the leader of the other gang.
Yes,
Yeah, the
she's back.
okay. It was
And then they
everyone.
and
It's
then they
like
have
all of them.
because it looked like they were doing like, so if you look at the key art, which is really cool key art, it was like side by side headshots of both of them, and
Yeah,
then four characters on each side. And then on Kasuga's side, there's two like new characters. There's like a dude with glasses. I guess he meets there in Hawaii, and then there's the other. And then there's like another girl. I guess they meet
interesting.
in Hawaii. I don't remember their names because they're just new characters. But yeah, very
Yeah.
excited.
From what I saw in the gameplay trailer, it looked very fun. There's a lot of cool new mini games. Riding the bike, they did karaoke stuff in that trailer and stuff like that. So I'm really interested in all that. And then just being exploring around Hawaii. That sounds really fun to me, man. Like that sounds
Yeah.
what an awesome setting. You know what I mean? Can't wait to be freezing my ass off in January and then come home and play this. You know, it's gonna be fucking great. Fucking be in Hawaii. I'm doing karaoke over there. That's gonna be awesome. And yeah, I just can't wait to see the story continue and what they're gonna get up to each bound and
Yeah.
all that. Love it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're in.
Yeah, I'm 100% in. Can't wait to kick off the year with this. Now, just don't give me anything else. They already have Persona 3 in February 3rd, so I'm gonna have to play that some
That's
other
gonna
time.
be
Yeah, that's gonna be in the
bye
back
bye.
burner for me.
Bye bye.
But yeah, I just kind of want give me a good month long to play Infinite Wealth, and then roll right into FF7
Final Fantasy.
Rebirth. Yeah,
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
that sounds like an awesome time.
Yeah, it does.
Our next news story, then, where do we want to go? Let's talk about the layoffs. Ascendant Studios, the studio that recently released Immortals of Aveum, has unfortunately laid off about half its staff, citing poor sales of the game as the reason. Daniel, fortunate news.
Yeah, this happened right after we finished the show last week. Like literally, I think it might happen like right while we were doing the show. Yeah, this sucks. Seems like the studio is still existing and they're still going to work on this IP, is from what I've gathered. I think the studio head said. It just sounds like the scale of everything that they were doing was way too much. Um, and it just didn't review incredible. It reviewed pretty well, but it didn't sell well. They wanted probably better reviews and to sell better, so I guess they just had to cut a big chunk of their studio, and it kind of sucks. Very quickly after this game was released too, so maybe they kind of already saw the writing on the wall coming out when it released. You know?
Yeah, yeah, very unfortunate because it's just like, man, we get so few new IP and like new
Yeah,
studios
I
trying new
know.
things, and it's just like, man, you see why we get so many sequels and live service games and IP games and stuff like that because it's just like
Remakes, remasters.
remakes, all that. Because it's just like if you're gonna take a gamble on a new thing, a new IP with a new studio, you better come like correct, and this better be like a 10 out of 10 game. Because it's just like if not, you're gonna get left behind and buried in the dust, especially with the release schedule we've had this year. And just like think of when this game came out. It came out right at the end of August, right? It came out right
Yeah,
next to Armored Core. You came out right before Starfield. You came out right before all the big fall rush and all that stuff, where people were probably saving their money for Spider-Man 2 or Mario Wonder or whatever, right? So it's just so hard to get in there. And I heard this game is pretty good too. Colin Moriarty's like champion this game. He like fucking loves it. I
I
don't know
don't
if he
understand why he's
yeah,
doing it as much.
yeah, I mean, he doing. I don't know. Maybe he just really liked the game, and it
Yeah,
looks fun from what I've seen of it. I don't know if it's something I'd ever even play. Maybe if it was on a subscription service or something like that, then I'd check it out. But yeah, and if we just weren't flooded with great games right now, right? It probably would be something I would check out. But yeah, it's just unfortunate, man. It just really shows. Like it just tells you why all these companies just double down on like we were saying, sequels, remakes, and all that, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Um, but also too, like EA, you have the money to keep this studio open and keep them going. Like if EA liked the game themselves, right, then you'd figure they'd be able to keep that afloat for as long as they wanted, right? So
yeah. Maybe
hopefully,
that's why they didn't shut them completely down.
yeah, hopefully the studio gets to move on and do something, right? So who knows? They'll probably just be a Battlefield support studio soon or something. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I mean, this
Uh,
the head was from Sledgehammer. I
yeah,
mean, he was a Call of Duty guy, so
yeah,
maybe they'll try to maybe do a shooter or something.
yeah.
Maybe
Uh,
scale it down just a bit.
let's stick with some layoffs then and whatnot. Striking Distance co-founder Glenn Schofield and multiple others are reportedly leaving the studio after just putting out Callisto Protocol last year. Daniel, more. It seems like these guys are willingly leaving. Maybe it doesn't necessarily say laid off here, but
Yeah.
obviously not good things going on over a striking distance either.
Are they owned by anyone?
Crafton or something like
Oh,
that.
that's
Something weird.
right.
Yeah, it was something
Yeah.
weird.
It's like, is that like a Korean like thing? Maybe.
Something like that. Are they
Where
the
are they
guys that
from?
like own? They own something big. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Did they own like part of the league or something?
Well, that's Riot.
That's Riot. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember what
Yeah,
these
they
guys
own
own
something
exactly.
too. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's interesting. I did not expect Glenn to be the one to go.
Yeah, he was a co-founder of the studio, so that's
Yeah.
very odd for him to leave. It kind of seems like that
Yeah.
studio is completely broken without him, you would think, right?
Yeah, very interesting choice.
And
I don't
again,
really know what to
another
think about
I
this.
mean, much like Immortals of Avrium, this is a lot like that. It's
This seemed to do much better than that.
sure, maybe not critically they're around the same, but
Yeah.
so, sales wise, yeah, I do remember this being in like cracking top 20 at least of
Hmm.
MPD and stuff like that. So I think it did probably sell a little bit better than that, but not enough to keep it going, I guess. Again, another game that they just poured money into, whoever owns these guys, and another new IP, another new single player thing that just unfortunately didn't succeed as much as they needed it to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was really
I
hyped for
guess
that too before it came out. I was
I
really
know.
excited. It was a shame. I didn't vibe with the game all that much either, so I'm not that surprised. But I liked the game. I thought it was decent. I would have loved to seen what they could have done with a sequel, right?
No, that's what I was gonna say. There was a lot there, especially like visuals and like audio. Like they had a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah,
Like it was a
interesting
good.
world. Like you could really
Yeah.
fill that world out. I listened to that whole podcast thing that
That
they did.
po-
Remember that?
that
That was
audio
awesome.
podcast was awesome,
Yeah, that was
dude. That
fucking
was
great.
so
They should have made that the story of the
yeah,
game.
it was
That would
so
have worked out
good.
way better because that thing was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
But
Jeremy Irons,
yeah,
awesome voice. Sam Fisher, and then it had what's her name from Game of Thrones.
yeah. I can't remember her name now either. But
Yeah, the plays
the
Brianna
character.
Tarth. Yeah,
There you go. That's the
Brianna
character name.
Tarth.
Yeah,
But those two, and they were awesome. Like
yeah.
that podcast was so good. It got me so hyped for when that came
Yeah, it
out.
really did. I remember listening to that before the game came out, and I was so excited. And then I played the game, and I was like, "Yeah." It was that melee button, man. The whole
It was
it
the
being
dodging.
centered around the
Yeah,
dodging and the melee. That was just an
yeah.
odd choice. Probably should have just made it a bit more like Dead Space, but I could get wanting to veer off and do your own thing, right? So yeah, very unfortunate with this game, but nonetheless, Glenn Schofield though, I mean, oof, it's where's he gone? It's sleeping with the fishes now.
He yeah. He sent a bunch of people sleeping. Now he's sleeping.
Now he's sleeping. Now he got capped in the back of the head. Next up, let's go. I mean, we'll continue with the bad news then. Multiple people at Crystal Dynamics have reportedly been laid off. This comes just weeks after Embracer Group also completely shut down Violation games.
Hmm. I think that they said there was no. It sucks for anyone that gets laid off. I think they said 9 people.
Yeah,
So it wasn't massive,
not massive.
unlike Ascendant Studios. But yeah, it sucks. They seem like if you look at because I posted 2 things in there. The second one was Crystal's statement. So if you look at that, they talk more about it. It seems like they're more marketing and like that side of it. And like I think there was one IT guy. So it seems like there's more a lot of that than it necessarily actual people developing the game. It seems like they just had to restructure a little bit and they had to kind of find some money some way, which really tells you it's kind of trickling down from the top, Embracer all the way down, and it's affecting Crystal. Really interested to see if, Crystal and maybe Eidos kind of break off or something. Same with Gearbox breaks off, you know, I don't know. Maybe Gearbox actually goes independent, like we talked about, or gets bought by
Yeah,
Take
that's been
Two.
rumored, right?
And maybe Take Two buys them. Like they already have a good partnership.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah, and then maybe Xbox picks up Crystal. Maybe Xbox picks up Eidos. I don't know.
Yeah, so this coming from Steven Tortilla, I'll just read that thing you posted. Embracer CEO Lars Wingfors,
Going forward. Yeah.
Wingfort, says companies seeking outside investment for some projects to avoid some layoffs, but also ultimately we are aiming decisions to either restructure or downsize some teams, and there will be a few cases of closures. Sounds like more to come, unfortunately, for Embracer Group. What were
They own
they
a lot of
thinking,
small
man?
teams.
Like,
They own a lot
what
of
were
small.
they thinking? Buying up all these teams, you know? It's just like, what was the end game here? You know what I mean?
The end game was probably a lot of passive income from what all these people were doing,
Yeah.
and they were probably thinking like similar to that kind of like Xbox mindset of like let's buy these things and let them be. So because they were buying everything that they needed, they were buying like publishing arms, they were buying devs, they were buying a lot of stuff. They were probably just trying to make a machine that could just run by itself, and then they don't really need to do much. And I just don't think that they had the vision for that.
Yeah, but when you got to keep that machine running with cash endlessly, right? And then
You
you
have
have to
to
get a
throw,
bunch of projects off the ground
yeah.
as well. You have to do all that, and you're gonna have to,
You're gonna have
completely
to eat
restructure
cash
the whole
somewhere,
thing.
right?
Yeah, especially in the beginning, right? It's like you can't just buy these studios and expect them to keep themselves afloat without any games being put out.
Yeah, it's like they're gonna have to eat cash somewhere to keep the machine. Like there, at some point, a machine like that could keep going on its own,
Yeah,
but you're gonna have to eat cash to fuel it first. Like, unlike like they're not in the same predicament, but like Xbox has Microsoft.
right.
Microsoft just has cash that they could just fuel everything,
Yeah,
right?
trillions of
Like,
dollars.
exactly. Like Embracer doesn't really have a Microsoft like head to fuel that. Like Lars is talking about. They need some sort of. It
And
looks
that
like that. Looks like they're looking to probably be sold completely, and then maybe that will keep everyone okay, and then
Yeah,
that
because
machine can
now
shut.
that I'm thinking about this as well, there was that whole thing where the deal fell through with Saudi Arabia, where they were
They
trying to
needed that
get,
money.
what was it? Was it $200 million or
I
something
think it
like
was two
that?
billion
Two
or
billion, yeah, excuse me.
yeah.
So yeah, way more than that.
They needed fuel,
Yeah,
and
they
they did
needed
not get
fuel,
it.
and so unfortunately, they didn't end up getting that from the sources they got, and now this is the outcome.
You remember
Unfortunately,
when?
tons of people are losing jobs.
You remember when it happened? Lars was the one on like calls talking, and people were like, "This man seems broken."
Yeah,
Because I think that he knew that that was like this is what what we're getting right now is what was going to happen.
yeah,
He already knew. Like if he didn't get that money, that was it.
just crazy, unfortunate thing that
Are
they
they
had to
gonna
go and even buy all these studios. You know,
are they gonna sell the Lord of the Rings license that they just got?
oof. Yeah, I mean
I mean, I don't know
that's got to be the
who'd want
biggest
that.
pot of gold that they're sitting on, right?
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, Gearbox might be their biggest pot of gold. I would say maybe Deep Silver as well. It's got to be up there.
yeah. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them that they could just end up
HQ.
selling off. Yeah. So yeah, gonna be very interesting to see in the months and years to come what ends up happening to Embrace Group here. Continuing on then yeah, I didn't write up the Unity stuff. There's a lot going on
We
there
don't need to
that,
talk a lot. I
yeah,
just put it in here just to kind of throw it like that we still don't have a resolution to this story, you
yeah.
know? So I didn't really want to I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it at all.
No, yeah, I know it seems like the whole thing was just a really bad decision by Unity, and they're trying to sort of reverse it, but not really at the same time. So I don't know. We're gonna have to just wait and see what happens there.
Do you want to see do you want to even talk about any of that happened last week or
Not really, and we're kind of
okay,
running short
we
of
can
time
we can
too.
move on.
But yeah, it's Unity whole fuck situation. They're trying to charge devs more for using their engine.
So John Riccatello's got to go out of that studio. He's got to be gone.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way he stays there.
Moving on then, the Division 3 just recently got announced this morning. Let me click in here real quick.
Hmm. It was just
Um,
like a press release. It wasn't even like
yeah, Ubisoft announces the Division 3 with Julian Grigory, something like that,
yeah,
returning as executive producer. And apparently he's the guy that is the director of Star Wars Outlaws as well. So he's
interesting.
moving over
Okay.
to Division 3.
Yeah, so that's coming out next year. So probably a couple more years. We'll probably start seeing this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big Division guy, are you?
Not really, but they can always get me.
Sure.
I like Tom Clancy games, so you know, it's not. I like third person shooters and Tom Clancy games. I mean, you can. I don't know. That might be good. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. That does tell me that Star Wars Outlaws is probably pretty close. I gotta
I mean, it's
imagine.
next year, right?
Yeah, it's next year. I didn't know if that game was gonna be like fall next year, or first half next year. I'm expecting first half now. So maybe an April May
Yeah.
type of game.
Yeah, I was just gonna say probably April May maybe.
Yeah, right around there. That'll be cool. Can't wait for that. All right then. Our last news story: the video game Circana numbers for the month of August. have dropped. We're gonna go over them.
I'm very interested.
Daniel, number 20. We'll do the whole top 20.
Okay.
Rainbow Six Siege, number 20. Popping back up there. It was 21
Siege.
last month, which is
Let's
interesting. So
go.
yeah, it might be some sort of resurgence in
Yeah, some sort
Siege.
of sale.
You know what I can't wait for next month is Titanfall 2. Apparently having a big resurgence
Oh,
right now.
yeah, let's
You heard about
go.
this Titanfall 2 stuff?
Yeah, a little bit.
Interesting stuff going on there. And then continuing on, number 19, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 18, Gran Turismo 7. Number 17, Final Fantasy 16. Number 16, God of War Ragnarok. Number 15, FIFA 23. 14, Elden Ring. 13, Street Fighter 6. 12, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. 11, Pikmin 4. 10,
Oh,
Mario
that's pretty
Kart
good.
8. Yeah, Pikmin 4 hanging in there. Came out in July, so it was 6
I'm just
and
surprised, like, that game's still holding on.
yeah, pretty popular game. Number 10, Mario Kart 8. Number 9, Minecraft. Number 8, MLB The Show 23. Number 7, Diablo 4. Number 6, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Number 5, Hogwarts Legacy. Number 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Number 3, Remnant 2, which is interesting.
I
Hanging in
was
there.
going to ask if that game completely fall off. No, it didn't.
No,
That's
all the way
awesome.
up in yeah, it was number 1 the month before, and it's number 3 now. It seemed like that game
That
hit
game is
very well.
selling. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2, new one, Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon. Been
Let's
up for number 2.
go. From
Yeah.
software, baby.
Oh yeah, we'll read the year, or at least part of it, after. I'm curious where that landed for the year. And then
Yeah.
the new number 1, Madden NFL 24, of
Very
course,
sad to see.
of
Very sad to
course.
see.
Let's just scroll down, take a peek at the year. So Madden is number 6 for the year already
No,
overall.
come on, give me a break.
Jumped way up there. We'll get FIFA next month too. So, and then Armored Core 6, number 20. So pretty good.
Wow. Okay.
Cracked in the top 20 right off
Only
the
for a
bat.
month.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll hang in the top 20 or if it'll just get kicked out immediately. But
I mean, we got
seems like
a
it did
lot still
decently.
coming out. Yeah, yeah. It might. I mean, it's gonna sell. Maybe we get some sales, but when it comes on sale for like Black Friday. But yeah,
Yeah. I know Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo updated the numbers themselves last month, so this is accurate numbers, and it's at number 2 for the year. So it didn't surpass Hogwarts Legacy.
it
So
won't. It's gonna
yeah,
be
I don't think it
Call of
will at
Duty
this point.
Hogwarts tiers probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if you think Call of Duty will get beat Hogwarts. It's kind of like the
Yo,
same thing as
come
last year
on
with Elden
now.
Ring.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Game's gonna, of course. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, because I wonder what. Do we know what Hogwarts is at right now?
I don't know the exact number now.
Okay.
I mean, it got a huge spike up with the last gen versions releasing.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
pretty crazy that a lot of people went out and bought the last gen versions. But
Yeah, it's probably outpacing Elden Ring by this point of its life cycle, I would assume.
yeah, you
Kind
gotta
of how it was
imagine.
last year, and so that might be a little harder to do for Call of Duty, but it's Call of Duty. I mean, it did it last year with Elden Ring. We didn't think it would,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I'm right there with you. Probably will. So we will see. We will see. That's gonna do it for the news of the week. Daniel, let's move on to what we've been playing. Daniel, what have you been playing?
Some Starfield. I think I'm like maybe 12 hours in or something like that. I'm still, maybe, somewhere around there. Like I didn't get to play as much Starfield as I wanted to. I'm still doing the UC stuff. I'm in that faction still. Like I had just started it last week,
Oh, cool.
so I think I'm towards the end of that. Just kind of how it's going. I'm not too sure how far I am in it,
If you
but
got so there's like one achievement in the beginning for all the factions, one in the middle, one at the end. One once you beat it. So it's like
okay.
if you got 2 achievements for that faction,
I think I
you can
did.
kind of tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I did. I did. So have you done the UC stuff?
No, I haven't done the UC
You still
faction
haven't
yet.
done it yet. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because I was gonna ask you how far I am in it. Okay, I know that I told you to do it because of that museum stuff. Like you
Yeah,
still.
I gotta that's the first one on my list. I got 3 factions left actually. So
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm towards that. I'm still really liking the game. This UC faction has been really good. I've been
Yeah.
really liking it.
The factions are
Um,
so good, man.
yeah, I really like this faction. Like I have a few missions that I want to do next after I do this faction. I have the Mantis mission that popped up for me not
Oh,
too long
cool.
ago.
That's a really
So
cool
like,
mission.
yeah, I want to get it so I can get a better ship.
Yeah.
Like I've seen the suit and the suit looks okay, but definitely want the ship. and do the mission because the mission seems cool.
If
And
you
then I
go
have
into the basement of the Constellation Lodge, you can.
I got that. Yeah,
Oh, that
I went and
suit,
did that.
yeah,
I
that's
went.
actually like one of the better suits you can get in the game. So if you just put that one on, you'll already have like one of the best
Okay,
suits. Yeah.
that is what I. That's what I'm using right now.
Yeah, you could like stare at the crack in between the thing
Yeah,
and then
it's so
steal the whole
funny you could
suit.
do
It's
that.
hilarious. Yeah.
I love that.
So what I also
Uh,
found there's like a puddle in I forget what the town's called, the one where Sam Coe's from.
is
That
it
town.
Neon? I think it's from
No,
Go
it's
Next.
not Neon. It's like the old school cowboy town sort of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the town name. But if you stare at this puddle that's outside of a shop, you can take the whole shop's inventory.
What?
If you just look at the
What are
puddle,
you
for some
talking
reason
about?
there's a glitch and like in the puddle is the whole shop inventory. And it doesn't count as stolen merch either. So you could just go there and take all the inventory, sell it all, come back the
They
next
didn't
day,
patch
do it
this?
again. No, not yet. It's
Oh my
hilarious. It's
god, I love
hilarious.
that.
Yeah.
That is awesome. How does that work?
It's just so funny.
That's so
It's like
cool.
a good amount of distance away from the shop too. It's like down the door and like you just to the left a little, and you gotta walk down an alley. It's like all right, cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so I have the Mantis mission. Then I have the mission for my house that I don't know what
Oh
it
yeah, I didn't do that perk.
yeah, so like it says Dream Home there. I don't know what the mission is. I didn't really read it. So I want to go and look at my house. Like I know I have to pay it off. I think it's like 100,000 or 120,000 credits or something like that.
It's that much,
Um,
really?
yeah,
Wow. Okay, that's a
something like
lot.
that. And like it said something about, you make payments every week or something like that.
Yeah.
And I haven't noticed like
It just pops up. So for the parents one, I know it's you gotta give your parents money for some reason. It just
yeah.
pops up once. I don't know. I don't know what the cycle is exactly, but every once in a while, it's just you gave 500 credits to your parents, and I'm just like, oh,
I
okay,
haven't noticed that for the house, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to go look at my house, see that. But yeah, that's basically what I've done in Starfield. Um, Sarah uh keeps wanting to talk to me all the time.
Yeah.
Like we're in the middle of this UC mission. I'm like, Sarah, we have more important things right now.
I'd love to talk sometime. That's all they
Yeah,
say. I'm
we're
just like,
like
okay.
we there was so a part of this UC stuff. We go to Mars, and we're like hopping between these 2 points, and you're taking a while to get there because like I'm encumbered, and I'm like, she's like, oh, I want to talk. I'm like, Sarah, we have spacesuits on. We're in the middle of space. You want to talk right
Not
now?
now, Sarah. Shut up.
Not
That's
now,
why I take
Sarah.
Vasco sometimes because I'm just like, all right, these people are
Does he never
annoying
want to?
me. No,
He never talks.
Vasco has no emotions. He doesn't want to sit there and have conversations. It's like, all right, you guys need to shut up. I'm taking Vasco.
uh, and then oh, when do you get that other cool girl that apparently is like one of the more interesting companions,
Oh, I forget her name
like
now. And
Andreja or something
yeah,
like that?
Andrea,
She's
something like
supposed to be
that.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Pretty soon in the main mission part.
Okay,
Yeah, do a
because I
couple
want to I want to see
more
her
of the
story.
main missions. Yeah, she's a really cool character.
Yeah, I want to
I
see
would
her
say all the
story.
members of Constellation are really well done, actually.
I really only know Sarah so far.
Yeah, yeah, I really like
Uh,
Barrett. Yeah, Sam Coe is actually a
Barrett seems
really
cool.
really well done character as well too. Yeah, they really went all in with the Constellation members.
Yeah. I want to do a lot of their missions. And then the other game that I've been playing, I think I'm definitely halfway because there's an achievement for it, but I'm did a few chapters after is Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
I did like a big chunk of it on Tuesday.
I wasn't sure if it came out tomorrow or if it came out on
It
Tuesday
came out
though.
Tuesday. Well, it
Oh,
came out that early access on Friday. Where if you
oh, gotcha,
paid
gotcha.
the premium edition, you can get it for the few days early, and then it came out Tuesday. Yeah, man, this game looks incredible. Like this is a big budget game. They put a lot of money in this game, but it is just fun, and they like really like slow you into it in terms of the story. Like I won't spoil anything, but like you start the game with like Kung Lao, right? And if anyone knows Kung Lao, he's got the hat with the blade. Like he doesn't even have that, and a lot of his moves are just basic dude fighting. So like the first few fights you do, you're just Kung Lao just doing stuff. Like he doesn't have his like hat teleport, or like he's not like throwing his hat, and stuff like that. Like he just doesn't have those moves. Even when you get to Raiden, like spoilers for like 11. Like Raiden isn't a god anymore. I mean, the whole world's technically rewritten, rebooted because of Liu Kang. So Raiden's just different. Like you don't even have his electric powers. You know, like he feels different right in the beginning. So they kind of eased a lot of that in. Um, and yeah, I'm really liking where the story's going, but not sure kind of where the end game is going to be. Sloan has already beaten the game. He beat it this weekend, and he said that like the ending's pretty wild and it really sets up Mortal Kombat 2. So I'm
Ooh,
very curious what he
interesting.
means by that. Yeah.
How long is it?
Um, Probably 5 hours, I would
Okay.
assume. I mean, it's kind of how
Uh,
most of them are.
yeah.
5 to 6, probably. Depending on how if you have to redo these fights and stuff, what difficulty you do. I'm sure you could do it in an easy mode and breeze through them and stuff. It's really cool to see a lot of these characters because it is a reboot of the world. See these characters kind of slightly different and changed, but still kind of keeping a little bit of who they are. Like uh, Scorpion and Sub-Zero in this game are brothers, which is not the normal Mortal Kombat lore. They're both part of the same clan, which is not the lore. Um, the Sub-Zero is Bihan. He is the original Sub-Zero, but I forget the Scorpion's name. But this Scorpion is not like the Scorpion that we know, which is Hanzo. He has a different name, which his name is actually the other Sub-Zero, the main Sub-Zero, like the good Sub-Zero, is his name is he is Scorpion in this game. Does that make sense?
Interesting. Yeah.
So he is the Scorpion, and he is the brother. And if you know anything kind of about Bihan and his story, like this other brother takes over as the mantle of Sub-Zero. Bihan ends up dying and then becomes Noob Saibot. I'm sure you know Noob Saibot. He's like the black dude that has the clone guy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You ever seen him?
Yeah, yeah.
So that guy, that's Bihan. Bihan was the classic original Sub-Zero that just is evil guy. He kills Hanzo and he kills Scorpion and all that stuff. So yeah,
But they
it's
kind of
interesting.
just mixed up
They're
the whole
mixing a
thing,
little
huh?
bit. Yeah, like Sonya's not in the game. She's a cameo character. Like Jax is not in the game. He's a cameo character. Kano is not in the game. Cameo character. So they're you could do like the call-in moves with them if you have them unlocked and stuff. But like they're doing some interesting things where they're really kind of pacing these characters and how you're in kind of their relationships, and it's a little different. You know, like Liu Kang isn't the chosen one. He's the god figure. He's the Raiden figure
Mm-hmm.
now, right? They kind of made Raiden kind of be the chosen like champion of Earthrealm a little bit. Um, yeah, just they're changing a little bit
So
how
are
they
you
set.
are you into all these changes? Like, do you like the direction they're going?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see where it is at the end to
Yeah.
know exactly how it comes together, but I'm cool with some of the changes. Like
Okay.
it is a reboot, and the interesting thing that makes it like what are they really doing here? Like I don't want to say too much spoiler stuff for this game in particular yet, and so, I haven't even beaten it. But like how everything happens is like there's only like two characters that know that the universe is rebooted and know what's happening.
Oh, so there's kind of like a meta approach to it too at that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like number one, Liu Kang because he won in 11 and he became the Keeper of Time and rebooted everything, right?
Oh.
And then he gives the Keeper of Time like mantle to, if you remember in 11, the Jiris guy. He's like the big bald guy that has to do with like time and stuff. If you
Sure.
remember him, uh, he is now the Keeper of Time, so he kind of knows a little bit of what's happening. But he was rebooted too, so it's like Liu Kang knows everything. Like Liu Kang, he is our Liu Kang. I don't know how nitty gritty you want me to get with it.
You go as deep as you want,
All
bud.
right, cool. So in Mortal Kombat, 9, 10, and 11, that's kind of, that was a new arc, a new reboot of everything. And in 11, Raiden was trying to get like a bunch of warriors to help beat Kronika, the big villain. So you've probably seen in the trailers for when 11 was coming out, there was like, oh, there's like the old school versions are coming back, like the Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, Johnny Cage and Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Liu Kang and Katana, because Liu Kang and Katana died in 10, right? Uh, like that is the Liu Kang that becomes the god, is technically the Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, right? Like he comes back and becomes champion. So he knows of like beating Chronica and all that and rebooting everything and stuff like that. And it's interesting to see he knows things, but like none of what no one else does because he rebooted everything. You know, it's interesting.
Mortal Kombat and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, that was 11. 11 was a crazy game.
It's fucking nuts. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know all that was going on, actually. That was really interesting, actually. I'd like to watch a detailed YouTube video about this.
11's
Yeah,
crazy game.
yeah.
And then there was the
this sounds
DLC that
fucking
I didn't
nuts.
play.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Awesome. Yeah. So you probably beat that next week?
I'm gonna beat that. Yeah, by
Finish.
next week I'll have that beat. I could probably do that one more session.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, hop back into some Starfield.
Cool. I beat Starfield. At least the
Let's
main
go.
campaign thing. Yeah, really interesting main story, man. Loved it. It was
You liked it? Good.
yeah, I went places I just was not expecting. I don't want to spoil anything, but
Okay.
yeah, it just went to some crazy places that like I was not expecting. Didn't think that this is what this game was gonna end up being about.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's just a very interesting space story, I guess. It's like it's hard to even call it space, honestly. By the time you beat it, it's just
I don't know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
dude, it gets trippy. Like it just really goes to some places that I just was not expecting. I think this might be Bethesda Game Studios' best main story, honestly. The more I
That's
think
what
about
I hear. So
yeah,
I like that.
I really think it is. Yeah, it's just very interesting. And then, so yeah, then there's the whole New Game Plus thing that everyone talks about, and like why you should get the New Game Plus and stuff like that. I see the want to get the New Game Plus and why you would want to do that, but ultimately, I do not think it's worth rushing through the main story and doing all that stuff and just kind of skipping the way you should play Bethesda Game Studios games, which is just to do whatever appeals to you at the time.
Yeah,
do
whatever's
the
drawing you.
factions, stuff like that. Yeah. Ultimately, I think it's more of a hey, here's an awesome reason to play the game again, eventually or something like that. Which typically a lot of Bethesda Game Studios fans do play the games multiple times. Like I've played Skyrim probably 4 or 5 times. I played Fallout 3 multiple times. I played them all multiple times. So I think it's like a really cool reason to go back over the coming years and keep playing it again and again. And it keeps upgrading. So like, not to spoil anything, but like that one thing I don't like is that's how you upgrade your powers. Is like you get the second stage of that power only in the New Game Plus. So like you have to go find it again. If you got the gravity one, you can get the gravity 2 in New Game Plus.
Okay.
Which I kind of don't like. I kind of wish you could get that
could
in
just
the base
upgrade it,
game. Yeah, and it
doesn't make any sense.
and it gets slightly more powerful and stuff like that. And it doesn't, I got a second power and it didn't feel that significant of an upgrade to the point where it's like, okay. And also, you can skip the main story in the second playthrough. And so you could beat it again without doing the main story.
How's that? Was that spoilery?
That's
to know
spoilery.
How that works?
I don't. Yeah, I won't tell you how that works because that's spoilery.
So basically, you just go right. To
but
the
that
end.
is something I wish I heard from someone. I think people were a little too. They were trying not to spoil anything, which I guess I appreciate.
So
but
you could just beeline to the end.
You could beeline to the. You have to do certain things, but you could beeline to the end. You could probably do it in like 2 hours if you wanted to. So yeah, and then but you would also have to go around and collect the upgrade to all the powers.
Right.
So and I mean that would obviously add a bunch more time. And so yeah, really interesting, really cool main story. Loved it. I mean, I probably put like 55 hours in, 60 almost, So it's a lot. It's like I feel like I'm like at the halfway point of stuff I want to do, honestly, because it's like
is there more than just the factions that you want to do?
Not really. Like that would be the main thing, but I'm sure, with the factions I'd be exploring more and then I'd find more side quests, of course, that I want to do. And then also I really want to get into shipbuilding and outposts and stuff like that and connecting the outposts and all that, which that would be a good reason to do the New Game Plus stuff over and over again because you just constantly get more upgrades and you would have better and better stuff the more New Game Pluses you do. I know it ends eventually, like with your powers. There is a limit. I don't know what the number is, but there is a limit for how much you can upgrade your powers. Okay. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see, but I wouldn't rush through the main story, I would say.
I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think I'm gonna do one when I go back to it, I'm gonna do one playthrough of just getting the powers and stuff, beat it again, and then I'll probably just live in the third save. You know, I'll probably just keep
Okay.
that one always. And yeah, because like all your stuff goes away too. You know, like your credits
Yeah, I
don't
don't like
carry
that.
over,
So.
your weapons don't carry over, your relationships don't carry over. It's
There's no
just
point in that for me then.
yeah, yeah. So it's very interesting, very cool. It's a very unique new game plus, I would say. Awesome idea, but yeah, not necessarily worth rushing through the main story like I've seen some people suggest.
Yeah.
So since I am 55 hours in, 60 hours in Starfield, I decided to take a little break. I'll come back to it, do the factions. I just you
Before
know,
you move on, you
yeah.
gonna move on? So you think this is the top 10 game for you this year?
Oh,
Good.
definitely.
Okay.
Top 10, yes. Game of the year, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about that. It might
Gotta
not
let it
even
sit.
gotta let it sit, think about it on a while. Honestly, it might not even be my favorite Xbox game of the year, Daniel. Yeah, you know what I'm
Let's
talking
go.
about. Real ones now.
Real ones
Um
now. Continue though.
but yeah, I love the game. I mean, it meted my expectations. I don't know if it succeeded my expectations at all. I don't.
You just wanted a Bethesda game.
Yeah, I wanted a space Bethesda game, and that's what I got. And it's
Yeah.
fucking awesome that we have this, and I can't wait to play all the expansions and keep playing this. I'll probably play it again and again for years to come. So, yeah, it's awesome. It's here. It's arrived, and yeah, it was fucking great, man. Can't wait to see these other factions too, because that probably was my favorite part was the Crimson Fleet faction thus far from what
Okay.
I've done. Yeah,
Yeah, I want to do that.
yeah, I really love that faction. That was great. So I moved on. I am now playing Sea of Stars, and I'm about
Okay.
7 hours into that, maybe eight, closer to that. This game's really fucking fun thus far, Daniel.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Got a very charming story. At least the setup was really fun and awesome. I'm loving the characters thus far. It's like there's just like an initial three-person group of characters, and like their friendship and connection is just so charming. It's really cool to see, and I'm actually loving the combat thus far. This turn-based
I need to
combat.
say this. I'm gonna say this again.
Yeah,
You're Mr. Turn
I
based
don't know
now.
what happened,
Don't know what
Daniel. I
happened.
don't know what happened. But this game has a lot of cool little things with the turn-based. So it's very active, much like Yakuza, like a Dragon was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so there's like a
So you're
block.
like, yeah, are you like pressing like when you about to hit, you like
Yep.
hit and you get like an extra hit or
Yeah. So
something?
like if you're just doing your basic attack, right? You could if you hit X or whatever at the same time as they're hitting with the basic attack, it'll do a double attack, right?
Oh,
So it's like
yeah.
that's really cool. And then you can block as well when enemies come at you if you
That's
time it.
also yeah.
Yeah, that's straight out of the Yakuza. If you time it right at the right time, you can block it, get a little bit of less damage taken off. And then each character has like a special power as well. So like Valerie, the main character, you get to choose between the boy and the girl, which one you want to play as. They're always together anyway, so it's the same story. It doesn't matter. It's just one will be following you
Okay.
depending on which one you choose. So I chose Valerie, and her main power is like this blue kind of like boomerang thing, and you throw it, and then you have to like hit it back. So you hit the enemy, hit X, and then when it gets back to you, hit X again, and it'll just keep bouncing back and forth,
Cool.
and you can keep hitting them. Yeah, so like it's a very active thing, and then like Zale, I think is the guy's main name. His is like kind of like a fucking Kamehameha where you like power it up and you like
Okay.
just keep mashing X and it powers up more and more. But at a certain point it'll go down. So you got to time it at the right time and let go of it at its most powerful, try to time it that way and then you get more damage. It's just a really cool like active turn-based system, and I'm having a lot of fun with that.
I
Really
do want
like
to
the
check
story thus
it out.
far. Yeah, it's the art style is so good. Like I feel like it does stuff that's like, obviously it looks like a Game Boy Advance game type thing, but like I feel like it does like more advanced stuff, like just the way like
For sure.
characters' hair like flows in like when you're walking and stuff like that, or just like the way you can like jump off stuff. It just like does stuff that I just feel like couldn't be done back then with these type of games, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. The music, you're gonna love the music when you check this out. The music
I
is
was gonna
great.
ask,
Yeah,
yeah.
the music is spectacular in this game. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this thus far. I'll definitely see it through. Yeah, so I'm like 7 hours in. I think it's like a 25-hour long game, something like that. So I figured, nice little thing to jump into here, get in, get out. And yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really
like
enjoying it.
seeing you playing this, are you still thinking about going and finishing Octopath or
See, that's just so long. It did
Yeah,
remind me of that when I first started it, where I'm just like, but I still got like probably like 60 more hours in Octopath, something like
that's
that, you know?
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just that game is just very long. I would love to at some point, but yeah, I mean, it's just with all these games coming out, it's
it's
really
too
hard to go
much.
back. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just very long. So, and this is just kind of like the perfect size, you know?
right.
So, yeah, I'm loving this game this far.
What's the next game then? Do you have time to like beat this and play a little more Starfield?
Yeah, that would probably be my plan. I mean, I don't, I want to check out Mirage, you know, but
Oh yeah, it's
yeah,
coming at
that
the
comes out
beginning of
like beginning of
October.
October. Yeah, and like it seems like I could definitely get through that before Spider-Man hits, you know, if I
Yeah,
wanted to. So I do that, but I still want to play Armored Core. I want to go back and get that. Baldur's Gate 3 is there, but it's like
yeah.
I'm not gonna start that
That's a
right
big
now.
commitment.
Yeah, it's
It's the
like
biggest commitment you're
that's
gonna have.
huge, you know. That might be like a try that in like
December?
December, yeah, December, January type thing, you know. And then so yeah, it's I'm not like really worried about anything else, you know. It's like kind of beat this, and hopefully just go back to Starfield and just beat those factions, and then ride that out until Spider-Man.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for Nerd Gods Podcast episode 189. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to us over at youtube.com/nerdic gods. You can also find us available on all audio platforms. Daniel, anything else you must say?
Make sure you share with your grandma.
Share your grandma. She loves video games.
Yeah, she does.
Grandma? How deep is the grandma into Sea of Stars right now? Probably super deep.
She second playthrough.
Second playthrough, yeah. She already on the ninth playthrough of Starfield too. You know, retirement time. You know, you got tons of time. That's all I would do in retirement.
This game,
Yeah,
dude.
I'd
Come
play
on.
games all day. That's it. That's all I'm doing. All right, everybody. See you later. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.